All right. So this is a new thing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first of a series of podcasts that I will be doing maybe regularly. I don't know. I did say in one or two of those polls that I was going to do like a weekly podcast thing, but it really depends because unlike my rambling videos, I actually am going to have other people on here. So that's going to complicate things a little bit. So, let's get introduced to some of the people that we're going to be having here tonight. We may have another person join in later if the stars align. So, just starting off from the top of the voice chat, let's start off with Griever. Introduce yourself. Tell us your whole thing.
What up? This is Griever, guys. How y'all doing today? I am very humbled and very glad to be here on the Misc's brand new starting podcast. It's really exciting. I run a small time YouTube channel. I cover manga, gaming, a few other things in between. So I'm sure there'll be a link in the description of this video so you can go check me out there if you're not already subscribed.
All right, fantastic. Now, Koji, you introduce yourself.
Welcome, me, myself, and I. I'm a random gaming watching my YouTube channel, and what I do is basically just shit posting Shimatsu no Valkyrie stuff. Just basically that.
Tremendous. Absolutely fantastic. Yes, these are the two souls. I reached out into the void outside my lair, and I pulled these two souls, these two poor souls in here, so that we can ramble for like an hour or two about Attack on Titan, which I've just recently caught up on with. We may have a fourth person join us later if everything goes well, small children stop being annoying. But in the meantime, let's get started off with this discussion. I'll go into my Black Book of Secrets and
Oh
go over a
God, he's
few
got a
topics.
death note, everyone. He's got a death note.
It's true, I have a
Get ready, get
Necronomicon.
ready.
Review time.
All right,
Who's the
so
most secret guy of the boys?
I think it would be most interesting if we start off with the guest's opinions. So we'll just go in the same order that we already started with, and say we'll talk about what are your general opinions on Attack on Titan. How did you get into it, and what do you think of it? And also probably how did you follow the story? Because some people are manga only, some people are anime only, some people started off on the anime and went to the manga. So just tell us your whole deal with that.
Should I start?
Um,
Should I start?
let's have Griever start. We're just gonna go in the order down through the chat. So we'll always start with Griever or whoever is at the top and then go down. So Griever, you start us
Oh,
off
okay.
with that.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it consistent. Consistency is good to start a new podcast. Well, Attack on Titan, of course, I knew about it being a big manga and anime nerd for many, many years now, and but I was not interested in it when the anime first dropped. That's how I first heard about it. I didn't know of the manga. I assumed it was manga, but I didn't know about it until the big thing, and it was winning awards, and the animation was crazy, and everybody was hyping it up. I didn't really choose not to get into it. It's just that at the time, the popular things was all apocalyptic. You had The Walking Dead on TV. You had The Last of Us video game. Then you had an anime. Everywhere you looked, it was an apocalyptic story, and by that time, I was sort of sick of it. So I didn't really feel like getting into it back then. I didn't necessarily hate it. I just didn't have an interest in watching it. I was a little zombie overfied. So it took me a number of years, and then I caught up with it actually in 2020, or late 2019 into 2020 is when I binge read the manga. I still haven't actually seen. I've seen a few fight scenes, never seen the anime. Uh, and I got into the manga expecting it not to be. Oh, I expected it was overhyped, etc., etc., and it pleasantly surprised me. I think in my binge read video, I gave it, and people for some reason hated me for it. I think I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was, and when I initially went into Attack on Titan, I thought I'd give it an average, a solid 5 at best. So it was pleasantly surprising. A lot of good characters, a lot of good plot lines, a lot of good three-dimensional thinking in it. It's just an overall very good manga. I don't really have any plans to watch the anime to go to that other question you were saying about whether you're manga or anime. I am fully caught up with the manga as of this recording. And so far, I mean, I have my problems with it, but overall, I think it's better than I gave it credit for on first. Okay, it's just another one of those overhyped things. It'll die down. And it's definitely a solid manga.
All right, nice. Koji, it's your turn.
Okay, the history of how it began is basically I didn't know about the anime or manga, to be honest. I was just basically a normal kiddo, a normal weeaboo. But then when I heard about it, was like, where can I see it? I wasn't expected because people got hyped by it in my school, but I would give it a still 7. I was still sticking to my guts with a 7. The first time I saw it was basically on a YouTube, like whole series on YouTube, like HD, full HD somehow that I just entered to take the chance, and then I started seeing it. I got a little bit into it. Like I say a lot. I don't hate it and I don't love it. It's basically a 7, between a 7 and a 6, because it's basically good but not good. But they think outside the box. When I got to the manga was actually when the anime ended on season 1, that I actually bought the mangas, and right now I still have some of the mangas that I still reread, and I'm caught up the mangas. We can see by the podcast, obviously, and I am still ongoing, like I said, and still on food with the same thing. I still don't hate it and still don't love it. Right now, it's like a 6 to 7, like I said. But yeah, I have the manga so I can reread, and I will use it for the podcast too.
Tremendous. All right, so I guess I should get into my thoughts and feelings on this, or I should probably start off with how I found out about it. So I think I was in like sixth grade when I found out about it. I don't remember if I'd learned about it from one of my band classmates having a piece of merchandise or from the YouTube Abridged series, but it was one of those two. So I had learned about it. I had watched some of the media on it because I'm one of those people where when I find out about a new thing and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, I guess. I basically just find as many videos as I can on it and I watch them all. And then didn't really think anything of it for a while. I think until season 2 started, which was like a 4 year gap. So it was basically absent from my mind. Um, so season 2 happens. I kind of am vaguely aware of things that happen in the plot. This is another important thing: is I did not get the genuine blind experience of not knowing what goes through, which, as I understand, is actually the ideal first experience for Attack on Titan, is having no fucking idea what's going on, which I can understand why, because in a lot of ways it's kind of like a mystery manga for a lot of it. It's really just about figuring out what's going on. So I would say my experience of learning about the story was more akin to that of a reread or a rewatch, and sort of knowing about a lot of the major story beats and seeing how they're set up early on. And holy shit, is a lot of stuff set up really early on. Um, so I'm just sort of vaguely aware of things that happen. And then this year, I've started my anime and manga channel, mostly a manga channel, and I'm like, I'm kind of a normie. I'm kind of like I've read and watched like not even 10 anime and manga, and I haven't even watched some of the big stuff like Attack on Titan. So the first season's on Netflix. I'm like, shit, I guess I'll watch Attack on Titan. So I watched the first season. I definitely legally watched the other 2 seasons on the internet and then caught up with season 4. I caught up on the anime on the perfect day when we got the Declaration of War episode. And then in the last week, I've caught up on the manga. So, for my overall opinion on it, I don't really have a problem with it. I genuinely, we're going to talk about this. I'm not super analytical on like a first watch through or read through of something. So unless a problem is really glaring, I generally can't find any issues with something. And that's kind of true with Attack on Titan is I don't really have any issues with it. I don't have any like big problems with what it's doing with the story and with the characters. Um, I think there are a lot of jokes about how absurd the story of Attack on Titan has gotten from where it was, and how a lot of people don't understand what's going on. But I think it's actually fairly simple. It's just you go from not knowing anything to knowing everything. So I guess we'll probably talk about how that develops at some point during this. But overall, I'd probably give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I primarily watched it through the anime. I only recently read through the manga to see what hadn't been animated yet, um, as of like last week. So most of my experience comes from watching the anime, so that is probably a bit of a big impact on it. But yeah, I'd say it is probably up there. I haven't watched that many anime, but in terms of anime that I have watched, it's probably the best anime. Not necessarily anime and manga, probably the best anime I've watched. And I'd say it's a very good entry anime because it's a very simple premise. It doesn't have a lot of dumb anime bullshit that pushes a lot of people away from watching anime. And I'd highly recommend it for anyone who's just sort of getting into the medium. So, with that out of the way, maybe we should get into a little more in-depth discussion. Um, let's start off with what you guys don't like about it. That'll probably be more interesting because if you look at the discourse online, most people just sort of have glowing praise for the series. So I'd like to know what you guys don't care for in it.
Okay. Well, I want to say that that was a pretty bold statement, saying it's like the your best or your favorite anime.
Not my
That
favorite,
was
but I'd say in terms of like as close as I can get to being objective, quote unquote. I still haven't watched all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That'll probably be the best. Um,
yes, absolutely.
but in terms of
But
like sheer production quality, it's probably the best anime I've watched.
okay, fair enough. And I do know that like a similar one like One Punch Man and stuff, there is a high level of detail put into that sort of deal, so I can understand that. Um, but as far as what I don't like, uh, honestly, there's not that many things, but I think that two of my points are the two things that I really dislike or took me out of the moment is number one, Aaron's character, which we already discussed on one of my streams, so I won't bore everyone on this podcast with the details. But suffice it to say that I believe that Aaron went from a character that a lot of people didn't like or thought was one dimensional, not necessarily badly written, but simply written. He's not some wow 4D chess character. And then you go on to see that whole evolution. So spoilers ahead, everyone who's listening. Uh,
Oh yeah, I
that
should probably specify this is like a full. Oh shit! One of my headphones fell out. I hope that didn't make an obnoxious sound.
no, it did
It
not.
didn't.
Oh,
It
thank
did
fucking
not.
god.
You're fine. You're
This
fine.
You're
is this
fine,
is a
man.
full spoiler podcast, so we are going all in on the
Yes.
shit. So
Spoiler
Yes. Okay.
alert! You've been watched.
A good way, Miss. Just for future, you should title it somewhere in the title or the description. Put up to chapter 136.
that's probably a
You
good
know,
idea.
or
Yeah.
something like that. That's what a lot of people do when they do a discussion video or something. You put the chapter you're up to, so people know. Okay, I'm not up to there. Don't watch this video yet, right?
All right, I'll be
Um,
sure to do that.
yeah, but either way, so I just didn't like the whole Historia thing or whatever, and all of a sudden Aaron becomes the super deep. There was a time for him to be badass. He gets the long hair. He goes to the place. He gets the he's bandaged up. He's the and the whole meeting with Reiner and stuff like that. Everything was leading up to Aaron being an actual three-dimensional character, someone that we initially thought, he's pretty weak as a main character. He's pretty one-dimensional. He was going to go three-dimensional, and then find out it was all just reverse amnesia is sort of lackluster as far as his character. Is it his character's fault that that happened? No, but I feel like the mangaka does not really give a shit. And according to an interview I actually read before I was joining this podcast, he actually doesn't care much for Aaron as a main character. He doesn't really like Aaron or uh, Mikasa.
Mikasa?
Yeah, he actually doesn't
Mikasa.
really. He doesn't actually really get. It's not that he doesn't care about his. It's just that they're not what's important when he's writing his story. He said something around that line to the interview is that this sort of like this isn't a character journey driven story. So
Again,
how
Yeah,
well
that
they're
is
written or
true.
how good they are isn't really relevant to him as far as what's important to what he's writing about versus their character development. Isn't that takes a back seat. So but yeah, that's one of my big gripes that a lot of people will disagree with. That Aaron stays a one-dimensional character with this facade of becoming three-dimensional after the small time skip. The only other thing I dislike is in the first part, Reiner and how do you say his name? Brunhold?
Bertolt? Bertolt.
Berthold,
Berthold?
Berthold.
Uh,
It has
yeah,
many names.
they
Berthold.
they all of a sudden, at random, I'm the Colossal Titan and I'm the Armor Titan.
Oh my
Out of
god, that
nowhere.
was so
Oh
fucking
my
No,
fucking
out of fucking nowhere. It made no sense for their info, especially what we learned later on, and we're following what Annie's going through and stuff, and Reiner, and they're remembering all their hardships when they first got to the Island of Devils and all this shit, and everything they went through to infiltrate and stay hidden, and Reiner actually going through PTSD and schizophrenia as a result of everything that they're going through, trying to play both sides. It was like Reiner is a good. Those three are amazingly written characters. It's very well handled, very well done. Reiner is one of my favorite characters. I think he's beautifully written. But that was the weakest moment I feel in Attack on Titan. You can argue the Eren stuff, but I don't know how anybody can defend there because there was no backlash. There was no reason for them to just come out and bet everything down. It wasn't like we had all these scenes of them being huge, big friends or anything like that quite yet. Sure, we had some moments, but not enough for them to just, hey, you know those things that you hate that killed your mother and all this crap? Yeah, we're the ones. I'm the one who broke that wall and killed your mother. Hi, join our side. It made zero sense and it came out of nowhere. There was no pressure. They were just on the wall. Like it came out of nowhere. It made no sense. And sure, it was a catalyst to start a bunch of shit, but it was like the most blonde moment those two had. And it wasn't like Reiner breaking under his schizophrenia, his whole I'm
I think he
totally
was
not a
he was
Titan,
suffering
I am
from
a
like
Titan.
DID or something. I forget what the actual thing
Right.
is, but he had
Yeah,
developed like a split
he was
personality.
right, and he was suffering from that as a result of doing this undercover stuff. It would have made sense if he was slowly breaking because we were seeing that and he slowly broke and then he admitted it without thinking and that was the big reveal, right? And it was Reiner not even realizing what he was saying, or whatever. That would have made sense. But for the other guy who was level headed to just go like, oh yeah, yeah. So here's the deal. Like,
No, I think
so
what
roundabout
happened was
Missouri boys.
Reiner revealed it,
It's
and Bertolt was standing there the whole time staring at him. He's like, are we for real right now? Are you really doing
yeah,
this?" Yeah, it
Berto
was
was like,
actually
bruh.
really funny. I don't know, because sometimes this may actually be because of the different experience from reading a manga and watching an anime. Is sometimes if things aren't really clear in a manga, an anime can clear it up. But when I had
Mm-hmm.
just watched that scene, it was like Reiner out of nowhere is like, "Oh, hey, Eren, I'm the Armored Titan and he's the Colossal Titan." Bertolt is standing there staring at him like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Oh, I think you're right about that, and I think that did happen in manga. But so I'm mistaken on that point. Now everyone's gonna probably flame
Yeah,
me
I'm
under
sure
the in the
someone's
comment section.
gonna
Wait,
someone's
Yeah,
gonna tear you
wait,
into
wait for
asshole
that.
in the
Wait for that.
comments.
Attack on
But
Titan
but I,
wankers.
I think it's afterwards we got the it wasn't until up to that point we didn't have as many scenes with Reiner showing him breaking. We got that after the fact. So it was a very WTF moment at the time, if I recall correctly, because we do flashbacks, like especially in the post stuff with Annie and when they first got to Devil's Island. So we still followed their storyline in the past after that scene. And I just think that, yeah, part of it, it just rubbed me the really wrong way. It made no sense then. I guess looking back, sure, you could argue a bit of sense, but from a storytelling perspective at the time, it made very little sense. And it was just like, what?
Yeah,
Why
I'll
would you
have
do
to go
that?
check back. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
gonna chew you out in the comments.
And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not a huge. I'm not. I got a tough skin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go
tanker,
back
I
and check
see.
that. I would say that they did not really. Reiner really did not get a lot of. they did not really allude to that very much pre-reveal. I think you had a little bit of hinting to it when they were in the castle the night before when they get attacked
Yeah,
by the Titans, and it was
You
something
remember Ymir's
Bertolt was
death?
like, "Oh yeah, remember Reiner, you're like a soldier, you're not a warrior." I think that happened.
Ah,
I'll need to go
yes.
check that again. But yeah, I kind of
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah, definitely. I haven't reread, just so everybody knows, I have not read the manga since I binge read it. I only just keep up with the current chapters. So a lot of my stuff is going to be, I'm not exactly looking at panels. I'm not a Wikipedia for Attack on Titan. So when I
Don't
say,
worry,
you know,
I have some of my old mangas right here. Attack on Titan Volume 1, 2, 12, and 16 if you need something.
Oh, nice.
there you go.
Yeah. I gave all away from like first volume season 4 to everything, all my mangas and my remaining ones out of all the Attack on Titan mangas so far are just this four. So yeah, I have at least some information. I'm the holy book master. I'm the saint over here. By the way, you said something about something very important that very 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 important. In other words, like Rainier, just it's Jonathan Thomas. So let's remember, because he actually said like, "Hey, I'm I'm the one that killed your fucking mother," and they're like, and it's like, "No, you're not." Actually broke apart just by something. Because if you see well, season 4, let's be honest, he was a stupid. He's just stupid. Uh, he came like he was elected just by luck, right? I guess that was the reason he broke out, because he didn't have that patience enough just to for the perfect moment. Because I don't think that he remembered or forgot for some reason. He forgot about the 13-year Jameer curse. That it's a very important. Because dude, you have 13 years. Even Bertha was like, what, like you said, like, bruh, you're really doing this? Thanks by you, we're gonna lose. And look what happened to Bertha, the Jaw Titan. That's why I didn't like it. Like, for example, yeah, it was kind of epic. Let's be honest. Season 2, the reveal on the manga, but what I don't understand well, why didn't why didn't they shows like Reiner and Berthold, instead of just telling like it was nothing, just going like breaking apart little by little. That's why I didn't like it mainly. Like breaking little by little until they couldn't handle it anymore. And then on the big reveal, I would say like I'm the one that try like crazy, like actual crazy, like they're warriors instead of soldiers. And that's why I think that went wrong also by Aaron, like you said, like one dimensional. That's one of the things that I least liked. And Mikasa, obviously. Eren, that's one of the things that I didn't like.
It's apparently something Aaron doesn't like either.
Yeah, at least Eren doesn't give a shit about Mikasa. Let's be honest, he doesn't too. But yeah, what
Oh,
I
no, he doesn't.
yeah, season 4 spoilers. I warned you all. Well, what I didn't like mainly, one of the things was like season 1, we can see finally, yeah, people can turn into titans, right? It started good,
hmm
like for a good climb. Then
hmm
when we see season 2, actually something happened. There are more titan chapters. It was like they showed Reiner. One of the things that I didn't like that I said right now, like from nothing, then at the end of like I can see it like the actual final chapter of season 2 that I can read it, that he like Jimir helping Reiner like for no reason, like Aaron just said Mikasa and Aaron just has a shape moment and they got ruined like always. And then when he screams, he actually activates the coordinate, and then Reiner and Berthel and Jameer see that, and they're like he has to coordinate. He can scream. He can control the Titans. I was like, bruh, if you actually did that, like it's always by royal blood Titans. It needs to activate through that. That's why Aaron couldn't do that. I understand, but what I wouldn't understand is why wouldn't use like a progressive state of evolution type manga that you would evolve showing little by little and covering the truth, instead of just on season 2 throwing every garbage away, like every shit away. At top of that, like that's one of the things that I didn't understood well. And by season 3 also that I didn't understood, they also threw stuff. Like for example, not a lot of stuff, but season 2 was the main thing. Like they threw like, oh, there's a jar titan shifter. That was Jimir. She did hide it, of course. Okay, yeah, royalty, blah blah blah. 2 more titan shifters. I was like, what the fuck? A beast titan. What the fuck is this? Coordinates. What the hell? Warrior, not soldiers. It's like they throw everything away instead of showing it in a correct way, uncovering the truth little by little. So sorry for rambling about it.
What,
That's a podcast. In other words.
so what's your complaint? Is that they introduced too much stuff in season 2?
Yeah, they introduced too much stuff in season 2, like by nowhere.
All right. Well, I'm gonna deconstruct this a little. So, what was your first complaint? Is they introduced too many Titan shifters?
No, no, it's not only the Titan shifters, but the Titan
I'm trying to
powers.
address these in order.
Mhm.
What was it,
Okay,
Koji? What did you start with?
they started with Titan shifter, right?
Yeah.
Beast Titan, and
Okay.
they showed off the language. Like Jameer can read this, and we can't. Like
That's
okay,
just like a
this
tease or
might
something. That's just how you introduce like a new detail.
yes. But then they introduced Jaw Titan. That was a little bit fair, okay? I gave them some extra points by the language and stuff like that. But then they introduced Reiner and Berthel that I was like, bruh. Even Berthel was like, bruh, what are you doing right now? And they
Well,
introduced like,
I think
yeah,
the introduction of the Titan shifters was fine because we had the introduction of Eren being a Titan shifter, and then we
yeah,
see the female Titan, which we hadn't seen previously. So we're like, ooh, I guess there are more people that can do it. And then with the Ymir speaking a different language thing, I think for me that was kind of enough of a tease. I mean, like I already knew Ymir was the Jaw Titan, um, but I guess with that, because we already know that the Titans are apparently like this foreign force. They're not from here, they just kind of show up. So her speaking this language that none of them can understand, I'm kind of like, I guess that is kind of a hint that there's something off about Ymir. So that was kind of fine. Um, and I think they had already said that the armored and colossal titans were probably titan shifters too. Which, in hindsight, I guess my entire watch through of Attack on Titan was like a read through. It is so fucking obvious that they are the
yeah.
armored and colossal titans. Like it is unreal how obvious it is that they are that.
Yeah, like you can see Reiner's by the hair color. Some people speculated that it was Jean between Jean and Reiner, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
the
I guess it
Reiner,
could have been John. Jean
yeah.
John. I can never tell how his name is supposed to be pronounced.
They change the name sometimes. Like for example, Reiner, Reinorto,
That's just like a
Berthold,
pronunciation
Berthold,
thing. It seems like a lot of them
Berthold.
have slightly different accents. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bertholdt's name
different.
changes all the time. Everyone calls him something different.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah,
like you.
his name does change a lot. And actually, I did find that chapter and reread it. Yeah, upon reread, and remember, guys, I only read it once. I will say that it's not nearly as poorly done as I originally believed. But at the time, it didn't make a whole lot of sense because we didn't have a lot of the Reiner, uh, like him going through this. Oh man, I'm not just delirious. Like he was becoming like he was having a disorder happen slowly but surely to him. We didn't really get that information until a lot later, and it was built upon after that moment, especially in the forest when they capture Aaron and all that stuff. So, uh, leading up to that point, it was like, why is this happening? Sure, he's freaking out. It is well drawn now that we are well told now that we um, have the information. But up to that point, I remember reading up to chapter 40, 45, 46, and I was just like, this is coming out of nowhere.
hmm.
Like it really felt like it was coming out of nowhere. But yes, upon reread, it is far better than upon first watch. Going, wait, what?
Yeah, I agree with that. Rereading is far more better because you can uncover my like more smaller details in the mean graphs.
Yeah, I
Like the
think
more
people
you
have
read it.
gone back. Like, I saw something on YouTube where it's like chapter 12. Here we see Aaron and Zeke time traveling. I'm like, they're not really time traveling,
Yeah,
but I
it
get what
was
you're
like
saying. It's gonna be
yeah,
really weird if Isayama actually did have all that shit planned out like 10
yeah,
years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think by the time we get introduced to the female Titan and we know what's the deal with Annie, it's fairly safe to assume that every really weird Titan is probably a person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
these
the moment I
Titans
saw
and
that, I
Hawks.
knew it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and listen, even without the knowledge of the reveals, it's like so obvious that the female Titan is Annie. Like no one else looks like her.
Yeah, it's basically you have who else is blonde? Obviously Krista, but she's literally defenseless. She's literally
Krista is
defenseless.
like there when they're chasing it. So
Yeah, so basically she's not. I remember good. Like one of the things that I almost forgot that you could see like they used well. I'll admit it is when Annie was chasing Aaron through the forest. We can see how Annie used the same move, same fighting style in a way when
literally, you see her go into the same fighting style. Aaron is about to say Annie. He says like A and then gets his head blown off. It's like, oh, yeah, this is really obvious. Though I guess then
yeah.
that's supposed to be like the really direct tease to let you know what's going on. And like as soon as
How
they
many,
go to Stohess or whatever, it's like, oh, yeah, it's Annie.
how many times did Aaron got captured? Good
Aaron
question.
gets captured a
A
lot. I've
lot.
noticed that. He's like a
Yeah,
reverse Ichigo. He's getting captured all the time and his friends have to come rescue him.
yeah. Like he gets like a lot. I understand, but he is. Do you have a small? He must have small IQ or something like that to get that capture. Even when they try to protect, I think that you remember well. Season 3, they try to protect Aaron at all costs. He got still captured by the royal family, so Krista can inherit the founder Titan power, if I recall correctly, right? So
Yeah, that's why they
basically,
wanted him, so that it could go
so
back to the
basically,
royal bloodline.
basically, Aaron is bad omen. In other words, just like gods, in a way. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
God struggles with life, Aaron just struggles with
Oh
being
yeah, like
captured, I
guts. Yeah,
guess.
everything seems to go really poorly for Aaron.
Yeah, poor boy.
Titan power never fucking works the way you want it to. You get kidnapped all the time. You get shown
You know,
visions of the future on
honestly,
accident.
I actually, I think I feel the worst for Levi.
Poor
Poor bastard.
Levi.
Oh,
Oh my
Poor
god, by
Levi.
oh,
where
poor
we
guy.
are in the
The captain, Wings of Freedom captain. You mean right? The last remainder of the Wings of Freedom on the that is incapacitated. In other words, right? You mean
Mhm.
that one, right? Oh God.
Yeah.
Him.
Go a little in depth,
Yep.
Griever. I feel like we just accidentally interrupted you when you were about to explain something. I hate when this
Oh, sorry,
No,
happens.
sorry.
no, no. You didn't. I just wanted to mention that, like, because you guys were saying, like, you feel bad for Aaron, and yes, you can feel bad for a lot of people in the show. I think that you got the triple children, you got Bernhard or whatever, however people call them, Reiner and Annie. You can feel bad for them, three dimensionally written. You can feel bad for Aaron, and as an extension of that, poor Mikasa because she's chasing someone who, my God, he's about as thick as a ton of bricks.
Oh my
Um,
god, when that's happening, it's like the scene where they're about to get eaten by Dinah's Titan. I'm like, dude, it cannot be more obvious. Jesus Christ, just go for it. Fuck's sake.
yep,
Yes,
It's
yep,
like, dude, she
that's
is
right.
all over you.
Yep. And then
see,
in the end,
he's-
but then they pale in comparison to Levi, that poor guy. He's
oh,
automatically, when we first meet this dude, he's a badass in a losing battle. And he makes the best of every situation. And by no fault of his own, his plans get undermined, he gets fucked around, and other people doing shit he said no. Literally, this dude would have solved all these problems like 5 or 6 times, and just either people don't obey, don't listen, don't follow his plans, or what have you, and he's the one who ends up getting fucked. Look at the current point right now in the chapter. Not only is he already not in his prime, and he even said that, it's like, I'm not exactly in my prime. Then, because of Connie, now I like Connie's storyline with the mother and all that stuff. That was really sad. But because he passed out and Levi's like, can't leave a man behind, shit, because he doesn't, he went and sacrificed his leg while he's already beat up. To, like, oh man, that poor guy. All he wants to do is win the battle, and he could win the battle if everyone would just pay attention.
All the man wants to do is open up a little cafe to drink teacups in a weird way, and all of his comrades get killed. That's another thing. I thought you were going for. Literally all of his comrades have died.
Everyone. Yep.
He's the last man standing. He's the last one from the original Levi squad. All of the people that were there when he joined are dead. Erwin's gone, Hanji's gone, the original Levi squad is gone. Everybody's gone. Levi's the last one, and here he is like this crippled piece of shit while everyone else is trying to fight and save the world.
Yeah, let's not forget that he like I compare Guts to Aaron. Guts is basically Levi, right? Because he struggled basically because his mother died. If I remember correctly,
his mother was like his mom was like a prostitute, and she died of like some prostitute disease.
Kenny, that was the brother of his mother, like basically his uncle. He tried to not to teach him to be a father, nothing but how to protect himself in the underground. Then he lost Kenny. Because Kenny left him, he lost Kenny. Then when he had two friends in the OVA of Levi, this is OVA from. Then we see that they try to kill Erwin to escape and be free like friends and all. Literally, his two friends get killed by Titan. That's when he goes all out, right? Then he joins Erwin's Wings of Freedom. After that, they introduce like someone from his squad or someone of his friend or something like that. He got bit off, and he asked him to stay strong and all, and he still died. And we see his original squad, that is Petra and the others, or Petra ex Levi, by the way. They also died. Then we have basically everything. Cadets groups, that is Rainer and Berthold. He learns that they're basically traitors. Then we see basically Erwin dying and the new cadet, everyone. We saw basically Levi losing Kenny again, in other regards. And then now he lost everything. This time not by his bad omen, but this time by the cause of Eren itself. Like,
oh right, the new Levi squad did get turned into Titans, and he had to kill all of them. That also happened.
Not only that, but season 3, part 2, they all die by as you can see, the perfect game episode.
Zeke has a tendency to kill all of Levi's comrades, or force them into situations where they all get killed.
That's where he keeps saying, "I really want to kill that beast type."
I really want to kill that fucking monkey.
Yeah, I love that.
He got devoured by Jimiro. Let's be honest. Like in the new chapter, last chapter, final chapter so far didn't end it yet.
Well, I mean, I guess
he asked.
Yeah, they've been eaten by Ymir like or something. Whatever that means.
Like we know that Kruger says something about say Mikasa or Armor, and then he says he doesn't know. That's basically the coordinate, right? Basically dealing with the past and future. Time traveling shit, right?
Or that's paths. Path is like the Force. It exists throughout all space and time. So like, it's like time is a flat circle. Paths covers the entire circle.
Yeah, Armin is
the dumbest fucking metaphor
he mentioned
I've ever made in my life.
Save Armin and Mikasa. He's probably saved, but he was there with Zeke too at that very moment. Like he says something like, "Hello, Mr. Zeke," and he says, "Hello, Eren's friend." Then he says, "So you've been eaten by Ymir too?" I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck? Armin's dead?"
Yeah, so they may be deado. I don't know. Attack on Titan is the type of series where you'll kill off the main characters at the end, not in the beginning or midway through, because you still kind of need them to move the story along. But
if you don't kill no one,
you can kill them at the end.
Then it's not a. Yeah, like you can kill the MC at the end. Like every time Attack on Titan, every episode is just basically they killed your prima. You're like, oh yeah, episode 99. Oh yeah, nothing happened. Thank God nobody died in this episode. Then
Thank
someone
God.
says, "Oh yeah, Rainer killed your grandma right now." You're like, "What?"
Season 3, Part 1 is like, wow, I'm amazed no one really important that wasn't already established has died. And then Part 2 is like, literally everyone except for the main
That-
characters gets killed.
that's punishment if you get to live. Everyone gets to live, basically, right? Because
All the
everyone
main
got to live.
characters live, all the side
And
characters die. That's the trade off.
yeah. And then we
Yep.
got like then we got Flock. That was
That
basically
little schmuck. We'll talk about him when I talk about some of the themes and
yeah.
stuff. Boy,
And
that guy
and while
Flock.
you go, while you go, I need to go to the bathroom, take a little piss. Be right back.
Tremendous. I will take this. Oh, wait. Maybe I shouldn't take this opportunity to change subjects. Whatever. We'll change subjects after he gets back. This is going on for quite a while. This is going very well. I was afraid we wouldn't have enough to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty to talk about, especially when you have me on here who's only read Attack on Titan once, and I'm like, yeah, this happened. No, it didn't. Oh, yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've only been through it once. I occasionally go back and rewatch scenes, but I've like, through osmosis and the grapevine, I've absorbed various plot points. I basically went through it knowing a lot of the major story beats, but I didn't know the details. I
Right.
somehow had no idea that Erwin loses an arm. Somehow I had never noticed that. So I was genuinely shocked when it happened, which
Mm-hmm.
makes the scene where he's like his arm is in the mouth of a Titan and without skipping a beat tells the Survey Corps to keep moving forward, just continue advancing.
Yeah. No,
I'm back. Wait.
th- there are so many good moments. Like I got to say, like some of the moments that I was not expecting was the whole like, especially I don't know if we can talk. Well, we can talk about this. The reveal that the Titans might not necessarily all be completely mindless, not just the ones that can transform, but the other ones,
Yeah.
because the original wife of Aaron's father went straight to his house.
That is really interesting to consider. You also have the
Yeah,
stuff with
it's
Connie's mom and what Ymir
Connie's
said
mom.
about when she was in. Yeah, Connie's mom like says "Welcome home" to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was I muted all what wasn't I muted all along?
I
Well,
don't know.
whatever.
You didn't really miss anything. We're actually about to transition into a new topic.
Oh yeah,
But
about
Transition.
intelligence about Titans, right?
or no, we were just bringing that up a little bit, like a big topic, like after the general feelings. But yeah, Titans. They're pretty horrifying in more ways than one. Like the idea of
Yeah.
people being still slightly conscious while being turned
Yes,
into
like
giant man-eating monstrosities. It's pretty awful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, new topic. What do you consider to be the best moment in like the whole series, or if you have multiple best moments, because you can't decide?
nice question. Griever, your choice. You start.
Mm-hmm. That is good. Actually, for it was good almost that you started off with the bad stuff, Miss, so we could get that out of the way because
Yeah,
honestly,
that
there's a
was my
lot of
plan.
great moments.
It's true.
There is a lot of great moments. I think I sort of just brought. I mean, we just talked Connie's mom. I felt like we sort of knew, but as that was done subtly to the point that we didn't know yet about this whole people transforming into Titans thing. That's where Titans come from yet. So when it first happened and Connie's looking at his mom like, and there's something about it, and we as the reader are starting to question. I felt like that was a slow build, and it worked really, really well. And I think it was a good payoff sort of thing there. Another one of the best moments. I think my favorite moment. Oh man, I think my favorite moment is finding out that it was the what we just talked about, Miss, where it was the original wife of Aaron's father still has some form because he said, no, I'll find you, whatever, and actually managed to like seek out his
Oh,
scent or something. and
My
then
God, I
killed,
forgot
and
about
then
that line. Oh, that's so fucked up.
yeah, and then she's no matter what, no matter what, I will find you. And she's this rampaging monster. But the moment she had the ability to, she tracked him down, beeline for his place. We don't know it at the time, and then ends up, well, killing or murdering, the current wife. Whether out of, you could even argue that that was done out of jealousy. Be like, what is this thing doing next to my? Where's my husband? Where's my husband? And that was her whole. Because it seems like there's like one motivation amongst these titans. Like one like thing that one regret in life, one whatever you want to call it, one motivation, one big thing that they retain, and hers was that, and it's just yeah, I felt like that moment was like, I did not see that coming. That was some damn good writing. That was some good foreshadowing. That was some great setup. I really like that.
Yeah, I wonder if her finding Aaron again later, like when what's his name, Hans, when she eats him. I wonder if she like found him specifically again because he had inherited Grisha's power, so like his, I don't know, scent energy or whatever was in Aaron now.
Maybe,
That
maybe.
would actually be interesting.
And the fact that Aaron doesn't know, like that, we the reader know the connection, but Aaron will never know the connection.
Yeah. Or well, he
Like,
didn't know it until
well,
after the fact because he got
Let's see, we
well,
have.
Grisha's
well,
memories.
yeah, he knows, right? He knows now because of the
Yeah.
but at the time he didn't know, and without the whole reverse amnesia bullshit that went on with Aaron, he never would have known. Yeah, had this progressed normally, and that, I think that's another big takeaway, that when he kills that female Titan, you're thinking this is just revenge. This is like at the beginning of the series, you don't know, right? Like, and it's exciting. It's like, is he ever going to run across that female Titan again? And we sort of forget about her, and then all of a sudden he actually does encounter the one that started this whole hatred, really, and not knowing the connection, kills her and stuff. It's not a simple revenge story anymore, and I that was some deep shit. I like that.
And okay, so it's in my turn.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
My turn? Really?
Yep, really.
Yeah.
It's finally here.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's crazy.
Really, really.
I'm finally done. Yeah, okay. So basically, we said it's basically we said the worst. We can finally take the bad part away, so it doesn't hurt us later, and then Attack on Titan Nipwanks cannot attack us. Good strategy. By the way, my best part, basically one of the best part, I would say, is like Griever said, the devotion and motivation and intelligence of the Titan is above. That's number two. Number one would be basically how it goes to just kill an anime that the author just made to win money about just killing titans to the extent that represents war in a way. Like, for example, you might know, for example, the creation of Attack on Titan, right? There was just about killing titans and all like that. Little by little, was implemented in, instead of just killing titans, to represent a representation and artwork that would just say this is basically war, like literally
Mm-hmm.
the experience itself. What atrocities can you face between it?
The
You lose
experience
friends.
itself is the best moment.
No, it's like reflecting. It's not the experience like the best, because that would be gruesome. That would be just like, I don't know, like cycles eating fork, series with fork or something like that. Well, the reflections, not the experiences, but instead the reflections on how people say, like for example, the beginning, how Aaron just say, "I want to kill Titans," until he sees like, so this is basically what I am losing, right? Like, this is basically why I win and what I lose. Like, I ended up my friends' lives, I ended up my enemies, but all that it cost was my self devotion itself. Like, what have I become as a monster? Even, and I thought that at step out when we see Reiner, it's basically what YouTuber says about the two sides in the same coin. Like, Reiner was the same in a way. Like, he wanted to be a hero, just like Aaron. and Reiner just thought, I'm gonna be a hero, I'm gonna be a hero, I'm gonna be a hero, and until he basically just becomes a schizophrenic or something like that, that he has war traumas because he's already a veteran, let's be honest. It was like, oh god, what have I caused? Oh god. And even when that Eren asked Rainer, that was one of my favorite parts. That on season 4, even the anime showed up, so you can see it. There's no spoilers if you saw season 4 anime. That why that you entered the wall? Why did you breach the wall? He says, "Cause I was ordered to." And who that you ordered? He thought that he was the good best thing to do.
Yeah, he's
In
like,
other
we
words,
did
it's
it
just
to save the world, basically.
yeah.
And
So
because I wanted
basically,
to be respected.
So
Mhm.
basically, that's just war. What reflects is just being war itself. Like everyone can think about being a hero, but at the end of the day, you think, you just think. You don't like say. You just think, because they're gonna be people that you killed that were innocent. Like you're being the villain all along. You can be the villain. There's no good hero, to be honest. Like for example, you see, I'm gonna kill all Titans, then he ended up being a villain. I'm gonna kill all the devils, then he ended up being a villain. That's like one of the main things that I
Hmm.
like to see, like the evolution and force step of that. Now, the second thing is what Griever said about the gruesome consciousness of a Titan. Like at least a Titan can have consciousness, like what we said. Uh,
Mhm.
Titans, as long as they have a motivation, they will be able to act like that. Like, for example, what you said, guys, about jealousy. Let's say Grisha's, or let's say one of the first flashbacks of book. I think that you saw on the OVAs or anime. I guess that it was like
I
basically.
haven't watched
A,
the OVAs. I
I
haven't seen any of
I don't
those.
think that it's on the OVAs, but on the anime itself, not the OVAs. That is basically the girl watching it that she's she has a book and she asks a titan, like literally it's not like an interrogation, it's like what we're doing a podcast. She is
You mean when
asking what
Hanji is
have
interrogating those two titans to see what they
no
like,
but
what their deal is?
no but the real deal is when she asks with a book, she literally writes everything. And when she said, "And why do you eat humans?" That's when the titan was crying. And then, "Why do you eat humans, you bastard? Why are you doing it?" Then he broke up. Like you can see the consciousness, like they're fighting back, but they can't at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's one of the day. And another thing is basically one of the easy things is how it goes. Like for example, let's say how it's basically, let's say like for example, Demon Slayer, right?
Uh-huh.
It's basically Attack on Titan, but with katana.
Okay, Koji. I'm going to pause you for a second there. Just so we're clear, I wanted to know what your favorite
You
moment
the only way to
was,
fight with your
like in the
mind.
like what your favorite moment is, like singular moment.
Oh, oh. Well, I would say. Oh God! I
Coach,
just.
I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad Miss brought it up.
because I was
Uh,
sitting there, I'm like, okay, yes, this is a very interesting like thing you're going over. I was going to
I would
save the
say the
war
declaration
discussion
of
for
war.
later. The declaration of war is your favorite moment.
That's how he says the reflection of war. He's basically like, "No war one's a hero." Oh my fucking God! Literally did that, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah, you got a little into that. I had this. I right. I'm gonna try and take a little more heavy-handed approach. I don't want to be like a controlling dick, but I am gonna try and. We are already like 53 minutes in. I'm gonna try and keep this to like 2 hours, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
You know how I am. I even
yeah,
analyzed deeply Dora the Explorer
don't
once.
worry.
I think that
We'll
I
we'll
told
keep
you.
that. We'll save that towards the latter half.
Another podcast, I guess.
No,
Well,
no, no,
let's
no.
go on.
We'll save that for a bit. So my favorite moment, as someone who's watched the anime, is definitely Erwin's charge and then Levi fighting the Beast Titan. I just consider that to be one whole sequence. Um, as I
Mhm.
mentioned to Griever, because I shared this scene on his Discord server, is that well, with the Erwin's charge scene, it's not even the animation. It's like the OST and voice acting that you have for Erwin. Um, I don't know the name of his voice actor, but goddamn, does that guy have range? Like, well, no, actually,
It's
he
the
doesn't have range, but he's a really, really good voice actor.
Erwin's voice actor, right?
Hmm?
The same as Jororo.
Yeah, he and
He's the one
Jotaro
that
have the
made
same
Jotaro.
voice actor, which is hilarious because Zeke has Dio's voice actor. Um, so that's yeah, that whole scene was like really good. I can still watch that again, and it makes me feel kind of like emotional just because of how passionate the voice acting is and the excellent choice of OST. I think Before Lights Out is what the OST is called. It is really, really fucking good. And then of course you have the Levi versus Beast Titan part, which is. Listen, there is a reason those two episodes are some of the highest rated TV episodes on IMDb. I think
Mm-hmm.
the episode where Levi fights the Beast Titan and an episode of Breaking Bad circulate between being the best and second best rated episodes of television on IMDb. And it's for a fucking reason. So we're gonna go through like two more little shorter segments here, hopefully.
Daisuke Ono is the voice actor. I just remember good. Daisuke
Yeah.
Ono.
So for starters, who do you consider to be the best character? I have a feeling a few of us are probably gonna have some agreement on this.
I'll this time I'll just say it. Just like name. Can I say just name
Just
before I
name it.
just
I have a feeling a lot of us I feel like we may have the same best
yes,
character.
please.
Who is it?
Okay,
Say
Griever.
it.
Who was the best character? Like hero, like type of hero. Basically Levi. He keeps
Okay.
moving forward.
Levi's up
Just
there.
nothing more.
I'm gonna
Nothing more.
say Erwin.
Okay. I'm also gonna say Erwin.
I'm gonna say Erwin. Erwin's the best character. Then Reiner. Then probably Levi.
Yeah.
Levi's up there, but Reiner
Levi
is
is pretty
probably
good.
one of the best written characters, and I feel like a lot of people do give him some props for that, but not enough.
Yeah.
So
Reiner
yeah.
does a really good job at highlighting the themes about war and stuff, but I really, really like Erwin. I just watched like an analysis thing on him earlier today. I don't remember a lot of the exact details, but it's really good stuff. Erwin is like, goddamn, listening to that man speak. Listen, you gotta watch animated scenes just for Erwin, cause like, holy shit, can that guy give a speech? I would
Yeah.
rush headfirst into the Beast Titans Boulder Barrage if that guy convinced me to do it. Good lord.
Dude, he even was the one that head forth, like the
Well,
one
because he
that
had
was
to.
in the front line. He was in the front line. He wasn't like the old times like season 1 or 2 that it was like they were trying to defend him at all costs in season 3 part 1 that he was surviving because they defended him at all costs. This time he decided to die with them, like go to
Well,
hell
no,
with
it
them.
wasn't just like a I'm gonna die with them. It's they are not going to kill themselves unless I'm the person leading the charge.
Yeah, because we saw if I think that you remember
Which is the
well
point.
that I
It would have to be Erwin.
yeah that well season 2 episode 12 aka volume 12 chapter something someone says they're like Erwin, you're killing everyone. What are you doing? He basically was trying to use Aaron as a tool to get his dream, like prove he was right or wrong or something like that. And he basically got his dream come true. So he basically didn't need it to do anything. He just flash forward and fight with honor, like the Spartans. Just in other words.
Erwin is a very interesting character in that he convinces many people to give up their lives for a selfless purpose while he has very selfish motivations in the process of wanting to find out the truth and what's in the basement. Um, and the culmination of that with Erwin's charge against the Beast Titan is him. He's talking to Levi, and he's like, "Listen, my dream, everything I've been searching for, is so close. Like it is within grasp. But if I just abandon the mission now and go after it, what are all of the people who have formed a mountain of bodies that I now stand on? What are they going to think? They want to know what happened to the hearts they gave. So, listen, I can't just abandon the mission now because of my selfish motivations. I've got to lead these guys on the suicide charge so that we can stop the Beast Titan and so that we can retake Shiga and Shina, and then the rest of the Survey Corps can find out what's in the basement.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
basically, yeah, because he basically said that how he was close and he felt like it was all over, like hope was all over, and he didn't knew what to do now. It was basically like he didn't knew. It's not like he needed to charge forward, but he didn't knew until Levi said like let your dream die or
He
something
said,
like
"Give
that.
up on your dream and die." I think
Yeah,
that
give
seems
up on your.
like Erwin is clearly very happy when Levi does that because Levi takes control because that's not a decision you can ask someone to make. Like,
Yeah,
give up on your life's goal and die before you can achieve it, or give up on everyone else and go and get it for yourself. That's not a decision you can ask someone to make themselves.
yeah. Basically,
No.
Levi was like, I'm gonna do it for you. And even if Erwin wasn't able to do it, even if he achieved it, he knew that he didn't have another chance anymore. No other chances, because he even at the afterman he couldn't go. The only way to do it is like someone could do it for him. So it was basically all out, and he was proud of it. At least achieved something, right? It was basically
Yeah.
Erwin.
Yep.
Griever, you have anything else to say about Erwin that we didn't just cover?
I think you guys pretty much covered everything on Erwin. Erwin's, I mean, everyone can talk about Erwin for a while, but just for the sake, since Erwin was already covered, I'm just going to say that Reiner gets a bit of a backseat because, once again, of the one thing that I'm still confident in saying that Eren isn't that well a written character. Is that's intentional, but he's people like with the time skip stuff. People I find like they first were all impressed with Reiner when he gets the mustache, the goatee, all that stuff, and he's fully developed into a three-dimensional character. And after Eren appears, he's completely overshadowed after that point. But but that's not the focus we should have. Reiner is still the better written character and has the more compelling storylines and compelling plots and really delving into his character. And it got completely overshadowed the moment that Eren showed up again. And I feel like Reiner is like what Eren should have been written as. His experiences from being in the Corps, his experiences of learning about the Titans, his experience of learning about that what the truth of the Island of Devils and all this stuff. Once they sort of knew all this stuff, Reiner had the proper character progression that Eren almost should have had, I guess, in my opinion. So I just really think that Reiner's probably my second favorite character as a result.
Hmm.
You know.
And we already
And
talked about
Griever
Levi
joined
a little earlier, so
Erwin cult.
the Erwin
Levi?
cult. We talked
The
about
Erwin
Levi
cult.
a little bit earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
Erwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what
Yeah.
can you expect when you have such a charismatic leader?
Tell
All right.
Erwin.
Yeah, Erwin's a
Uh,
Chad.
he's the bearded Chad in season 2. He's the first
The end of
unbearded
season
Chad in
2,
all
he does
history.
have a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going on. I assume it'd be
Yeah.
weird getting used to shaving with only one arm.
Yeah,
I mean, you
but
really
he's
only
the
need
first.
one arm for the actual shaving, but when it comes to like like putting pressure against the other side, I assume it'd be weird getting used to missing an arm.
Yeah,
I
but
assume that
he
would be weird. Yeah.
he was basically the one that caught it in his arm. I have it the volume here. He was basically something like he cut his arm or something like that.
He
Was it?
probably had to, unless the Titan bit it off. I imagine, like, if it wasn't biting it off, it was just like holding him there. He probably had to cut his own arm off.
Yeah, he was. Erwin was the one like he basically cut off his brutal chest to save Eren because it was tied up at the capture scene. Basically, Eren getting captured all along.
Yeah.
It's he basically over here. Yeah, he threw the Titans through everything. Blah blah blah. He basically tried to save Eren's life. He even risked himself because he
Well, because
even
he
had
believed
one
Eren was
arm.
essential, which I mean, he was kind of right.
Yes. At the end of the day, he wasn't essential. He was
Actually,
essential,
no, he
but it
wasn't
was
kind of right. He was right. Eren was essential
he
to the
was
plan.
yeah, he was essential,
Yeah.
but he had a plan also, Eren.
Yeah.
A little more they know.
No,
I
man.
think that this
Listen,
go.
if you can if you can, one, cut your own arm off, and two, lose your arm without skipping a beat, you're like certified Chad.
No, he's basically a god, not a Chad. That's a monk Chad. God. He's basically a god.
He is up
Dude,
there in
he.
the Chad level characters. Like I typically like a lot of
Oh,
characters kind of get like. Actually, I don't know if a lot of characters get jerked off as being really Chad like too often. Maybe I just don't like
we
people
have.
Some
babbling
do,
about it all the
some
time.
do.
Some do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
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 But I'd put him up there with the various very high T
Yeah.
Chadley characters of various series I've read. They've always got one. You've usually got like one. Because if you have more than one, they don't really stand out as much. But you've normally got like one fucking character where they just get your blood pumping, got a lot of adrenaline going whenever they show up. For Attack on Titan, it's Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
I would agree with that.
Next topic.
It's.
Next little one.
I
We're
was
gonna
going to
talk
say
about
that.
Titan shifters. Which Titan shifting power do you think is the coolest? Like, not the strongest one, because we all know which one that is.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is like the
Yeah.
coolest power? Like, if you had to pick one, which one would you want?
Well, it would be
Ooh.
basically armor. It's. I know it's the weakest, basically, but that's one of my favorites always. I don't care what the quiz says. Every quiz on internet that literally told me I'm Armin, I have the colossal whatever. I choose armor. I don't care the whatever. He basically is like you can take it out. It's like bare naked. He has the ability to take out armor. He has
Yeah,
the
he's like
ability
the
to.
shield breaker character.
Yeah.
Kind of.
He's
Actually, no, he turns into more of like a. Well, since he's got theoretically higher durability, he's mostly like the shield, actually. Because it's like,
yeah.
Reiner, go
He's
in and take all of the attention away from everyone else. Because you're.
no, because basically the armor is basically like the tanky one. Like he's the vanguard, and with the others they attack and stuff like that.
Wouldn't the Colossal
Armor.
Titan be the Vanguard? Because they like whip him out, he
No,
destroys the
he
gate
would
or
be the
whatever, and then they pull in the
no
Armored Titan to go and destroy
no
the enemy.
sort of, but he's the
Yeah, he
nuke.
sort
He's
of.
you
He
basically
sort of is,
throw
yeah.
him and he turns into a freaking nuke.
Dude,
It's
that was
it's
so. Oh,
you
do you
remember that, right?
listen? There are you know when there's an anime moment where like or a manga moment where something happens and you're just like, oh shit, you've got to be kidding me because it's just kind of ridiculous. It's almost stupid, but it's so cool that it stops being dumb. When they showed that Bertolt was in that barrel and Zeke picked him up and threw it, I'm like, oh my god, you literally have like a short range nuclear weapon. Are you fucking kidding me? That's so stupid. I
Yeah.
love it.
No, not only that, but Armin does it too. Basically on
Armin
the
does do it
bay.
too, yeah.
Yeah, they're basically nukes. They're not like vanguards because
Dude,
you can
they
use it as the tank
upgraded
guard.
that. I don't know what happened because initially the Colossal Titan just kind of shows up like the
Yeah.
previous three times he showed up, and then when they're doing the retaking of Shiganshina, maybe it's because Bertolt had like made up his mind. I think that was like
It
part of his
changed the
character
ability or
where
something
because
like
of
that.
him being like very meek, he could never use the full power of the Colossal Titan. But then when he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess everyone has to die then, he's just like transforms and it turns into a fucking nuke.
Yeah, he could basically do it if look if he did that instead. Like for example, like Reiner stole Aaron and probably Jimmy if he had the time. And Berthel was the attention like, I'm gonna freaking nuke this place. He just basically killed anyone, right? Instead
Yeah.
of being transforming inside the wall, why didn't you screw yourself off and then nuke everyone else while Reiner completed the task of taking the funding titan, right? It
Yeah.
was basically that. They had a way and they had one job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So the Armored
yeah,
Titan, yeah, that's the one you would take. That's your coolest. That's the one you think is the coolest.
armor.
All right.
Basically, I can. He runs bare naked if you want to take the armor off. It's basically one of their abilities, right? You run bare naked.
I think he can take off his armor.
Yeah, he can take
I mean,
off
like,
the
he
armor.
transformed without it one time, but that may have just been
Yeah,
because
but
he was not really feeling it. But I'm pretty sure
no,
he
it
can
was
release his
like
armor.
he can release the armor. That's why he can do a little bit speedy. That's the
Yeah.
best part. Like, imagine if without the armor, he would be just freaking speedy everywhere. Like freaking jaw and card titan just being more speedy or something like that. Flash titan, something like that.
Hmm.
Hey, my mom is start asking me for the medicine. Be right back.
Great. Well then, Griever, I guess it's your turn now.
Warhammer Titan.
Hmm.
I think whatever she, that doesn't matter. It depends on who possesses it. But I find that the Warhammer Titan has one of the coolest designs. It's not as freaky; it's more badass. So I was drawn to it initially. The whole it's like a combination of a skull mixed with Titan look to it.
Yeah.
I really like the aesthetic of it, and I find it could be extremely versatile. Like you give that to someone like Aizen or Kisuke Urahara from Bleach, that Warhammer Titan would be OP as hell. The manipulation of Titan flesh, the hardening and rehardening, and all that stuff. Oh, come on! Like just because your initial question was what power, like what Titan do you find the most unique? Like like I really like the Attack Titan.
Yeah,
I think
which one do
Aaron's
you
Titan is really
find
cool.
which one do you think is the coolest? Which one would you like if you had to have
It's
one?
it's a toss up between the Attack Titan and the Warhammer Titan. I think they're the coolest ones. I think they're the most versatile for their abilities. Like the Attack Titan is just an overall like a general fighter, sort of like picking Mario and Mario Kart. You know what I mean? You're not too slow. You're not too fast. You're not too heavy. You're not too you're just like an all round a brawler, right? Like you've got your stats, a little bit of stats in everything, right? And
Yeah, plus the
that
fighting
idea,
abilities to
but
come.
then the Warhammer Titan has that, once again, as I said, that versatility that just like a devil fruit in One Piece, if you sat down and thought about it and figured it out, you could take a supposedly, like some people take a relatively, like, look, the main character has a rubber fruit, and look at what he's able to do with it because he keeps thinking about how to apply it differently and how to use the benefits of a rather just a kind of a goofy thing. So with the Warhammer Titan, if you mix it with someone with high intelligence, it just has so much versatility. I just really like it, and it looks
Yeah.
badass. So
Yeah. The Warhammer
Plus
Titan is so busted. They had to keep it wired. They couldn't go wireless. They couldn't take it to Bluetooth. Otherwise, it would just be fucking broken. They had to give it a
that's
wire. You
right.
have to keep it plugged in or it turns off.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
not only that, but I think that it can control something on Earth or something like spikes, something like that, right?
Yeah,
That
that's the use of it. Has like the best hardening ability.
yeah, not
Yeah.
it has basically hardened. It also has like hammers. Like it basically gives you an extra a bonus weapon as a Titan.
It's
It
like
basically
the attack titan is what is if you gave a titan the versatility of like a intelligent human being, whereas the Warhammer
yeah
Titan is like what if you gave a person the versatility? What if you gave a titan the versatility of a person with intellect, but also they can just have whatever weapons they want?
yeah. One
Like
of them had like
it gets busted. And then they just
yeah.
combined the two most versatile Titans, with Aaron stealing the Warhammer Titan too. So now he has both of the most versatile
Wait,
Titans.
wasn't the Warhammer Titan like something like not right now they can use arrows like they show
Yeah,
it
it
in
made a
the panels of
crossbow.
chapter 136.
Yeah,
Yeah, they no,
it made
not
it
only
can make
crossbow.
whatever it wants basically.
Yeah.
I
So
think
Yeah. Pretty much.
bust.
wait, if it
And you don't have
wait,
to
if
worry
it
about
can
being in the nape. You're basically invincible unless the Jaw
Yeah.
Titan shows up. And not Ymir's
I
shitty Jaw Titan, like the normal Jaw Titan.
well yeah, I
Hmm.
guess that the Warhammer Titan, if you hide well, they don't know where you
Yeah, they
actually
can just
are.
follow the cord. It's like unplugging someone's laptop or something.
Yeah, you have to keep the same
Or
place
not
and
laptop, it's
date,
like
and
unplugging
you
a
are
computer.
yeah, it's basically if you keep your headphones on, you'll use it. If you have it off, you're basically shit it off. Hey,
Yep.
Griever.
I think you may be having to get like a
Yeah.
call or something. I don't know. So, my turn now. for the sake
Yes.
of having different things to talk about, I would say that the Warhammer Titan is the coolest. The second coolest one is the Beast Titan. So, well, even without the Titan controlling ability that comes from Zeke having royal blood, just the fact that you basically have a Titan where it's like, oh yeah, he just has like absurd ranged capabilities. The fact that you can basically just have Titan artillery where he's just sort of like standing half a mile away from everyone and he can just chuck shit at everyone.
Yeah,
Which seems to be the only thing he does. It's very different from all of the other Titans where they're like kicking and punching shit.
yeah, it's
Zeke
basically
almost exclusively does ranged,
yeah,
which
but
is
he
actually
is
pretty
so
smart with the long arms, assuming they would all have
he
long arms. Because wouldn't you
you
get like, I don't remember how physics work, but with longer arms, it would kind of be like a trebuchet or something, right? Or like a catapult.
Something like that,
uh
yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
then with the
something like
Titan
that.
controlling ability, then it's just nice. So the Beast Titan's actually really cool. I quite like the Beast Titan a lot as well.
I just find it looks fucking ugly.
It is,
It,
it is,
it's
I've gotten used to it.
So,
I kind of like it.
it
I
is
don't know.
motherfucking ugly.
Listen, a
We
lot of
we
Titans are
even
fucking ugly.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
but he
they're
It could
almost
be
they're almost
worse. It could
universally
look like the
ugly.
Cart Titan.
Oh, that card Titan looks so bad.
What?
Yeah.
yeah, but
What a
basically
contrast. Having the
the
Yeah.
ugliest of the Titan forms, and then having the person inside. Oh.
Car Titan is basically a weaker one, but you have extra utility versus Vigor and stuff like that, and you can even last like 7 or 9 months, something like that. But it's
Dude, that thing
basically
is
Car Titan.
absurd.
Yeah, that's
That thing
that's
is
the power up of being weak.
being
You
the
can let
shittiest Titan form, like the most useless in terms of actual combat. You can turn into it basically as many times as you need to.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's so damn weak.
Talking about back about the Beast Titan, he basically is more utility. Also, range utility, everything. He's
It's a
basically
commander
like a
unit, actually. I just
yeah,
thought of that.
because he can
Well, if you
climb on
have
that.
royal blood, it's like a commanding unit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he basically can climb. He can throw. He can grab. He can even slam someone. Like he throw the armor titan away.
I want to
When
know how the
he
fuck he beat him, because they would seem to
yeah
be having like a normal fight. I imagine if he just threw a bunch of shit at Reiner,
no
he could have
no
beaten him. But I
no
want to know how he
this is
actually fought him.
this is basically what I think it had happened. So Brenner obviously transformed. Then he transformed. He took it by the arm and then basically slammed him like King Kong. That's basically
Oh
what I
shit!
guess it
I
happened.
forgot my phone is on vibrate. That's awkward. That thing, whenever
Well,
my phone vibrates on like a desk or something, the sound of it scares the shit out of me when I'm not expecting it, because it can be so fucking loud. Like louder
yeah.
than when I have my ringer on.
Wow.
Yeah. What the fuck was I just thinking of? God damn it, I
Well,
was thinking of something. Oh
we
well.
were talking about Titan.
We were talking
Titan.
about Titans. Oh well. Something something
Uh,
Beast Titan
wait
being
a minute,
cool.
wait a minute, wait a whole minute.
Okay.
This has gone on for over an hour, and you're just informing me now that we're talking about something involving Titans? What do you
Yeah.
think this is? This podcast has nothing to do with Titans,
No,
okay?
this is a One Piece podcast.
Yeah, this is
Right,
a
this is
police.
One Piece.
We're talking about how Luffy met Ichigo with a Rasengan.
That's
Basic.
absolutely right.
Yeah, Kamehameha Sengan Saiyans form 100 path unlock with demon fruit, Bane, something.
Koji, have
Here you
you
go.
read One Piece? Because I haven't, and I can't tell if you're just making shit up right now. I
I,
can't
I
tell if
have
you're
read
just
One
stringing
Piece.
together various important words that you've heard before, or if
I'm
you've actually
I'm
read
telling
One
a
Piece and know
fever
what you're
dream.
talking about.
I'm just
It
telling
is
a
so
fever dream.
sad. I'm just going to say right now, it is so sad that you have not read One Piece.
I
sad.
have to read it at one point. I'm gonna have to do it
Dude,
eventually. I know I have to.
Everybody
e-
has to. Everybody has to.
every you're like the dad that think that he cool and he learned cool stuff, but when he sees like the main template, like, oh cool, I do drugs, kids, and then the kid's like, oh bro,
I'm
look at
like,
him, he's boring, he doesn't has anime
it's like,
eyes.
dude,
It's
you're
basically
you're an anime and manga YouTuber and you haven't even fucking read One Piece. What kind of what
yeah,
kind of
the
Yeah,
shitty
manga
that's a
show are
little
you
storyline.
running here?
difficult.
Yeah,
It
no,
would be.
that's another stuff.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I read Naruto years ago for the sole purpose of just so I could say, no, you know what? I don't fucking like Naruto. Yes, I've read it. No, I don't like it.
I probably have to read that at
I
some point
did
too.
basically that with Naruto, I guess. No, with Bleach I do it. And for some reason, ironically, I I see more YouTubers that talk about Bleach. Like literally, like that's the first video that I saw from Misk, basically. A
Oh
Bleach video.
yeah. How did you see
Yeah.
that? Because I had like 5 people watch my first one until I shared it on the Bleach subreddit, and my Soul Society
Oh.
video went like a week without getting any fucking views.
Like to be honest, it got on my recommended on YouTube. I don't
Really?
know how.
Also,
I don't know
also remember,
how.
Miss, that when you're talking about, and it's something that really like, if I had the option, I'd be talking more about Bleach on my channel and be dropping the One Punch Man stuff, but it's not going to get you views because when Bleach the anime comes back, it'll give us views.
Oh yeah,
But
I
until
remember. I've
that
had
Yeah.
point,
discussions with some people about that. I don't remember who
yeah.
it was, because I don't want to
Yeah.
sound like I'm calling someone out,
Mhm.
but I recall someone was suggesting
Just
to
say
me that I
redacted.
do. No, I don't even, because I can't remember who it is. So I don't want to
Mhm.
sound like I'm being an asshole to them if they remember who
Mhm.
they are, because I don't remember who they are exactly. But they
Well,
were
thanks
telling
for
me like,
remembering
yeah,
my
like,
name, Misk.
don't worry, I know it wasn't you, Griever. Um, they were like, yeah, you should do like a bunch of 1,000 Year Blood War videos for, cause the anime is gonna be coming out, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that would probably get me views, but like, I don't really have much to say. I pretty much gave all my thoughts about 1,000 Year Blood War when I did my reviews for it. So like,
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna
It's
do fucking cash grab videos.
No,
yeah.
that's right.
I mean, I
You
My
know
could,
that.
problem is,
but I'm not really very interested in that. I've kind of found my lane doing stuff that I enjoy.
right.
So if I find like I could do my hero videos, but I decided to do Black Clover instead because I really don't have much to say about my hero. Like it's a series with it's got stuff going on, but like it's not that deep, so I don't really have much to say
Like
about
you
it.
don't like it. In other words, like
No, I
you
like
don't
my
like it.
hero. It's just I don't have a lot to say about it.
I'm the same way. Like I've done a couple of Black Clover reviews. I've had a couple of My Hero Academia reviews, but only when something grabs me in the chapter. It's not something I read it week to week, but it's not something that I feel like I could really talk about week to week. I think I just get, the only reason like I started doing One Punch Man streams, ironically, people really wanted my thoughts because I was the only one, it seemed, in the entirety of the anime community on the internet that didn't think One Punch Man was that great. People were
Hmm.
like, "What? How is that possible?" So they're like, "You should react to the chapters then and give us your thoughts." I'm like, all right. And I started doing it, but they do extremely well. So
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like chatting to my community and chatting to my subscribers, and there's a new One Punch Man chapter out, it's an easy couple hours. It gives me, a good view count. It gives me content, and then any planned videos, which I find recorded videos take longer to edit and play with, and maybe you're not happy and you re-record some stuff. I find streams are a lot easier because it's all live,
Yeah,
and
the
then it's like,
benefit
all
of
right,
this, I'm not editing shit.
there you
This
Yeah.
is
go.
just the whole thing getting uploaded.
That
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
said,
Just like
what about the
shit
next
posters.
topic on your list there, Miss? We
Oh,
kind of got
Yeah.
off
right.
track.
We're getting out of other
All right.
animes,
What do
but
we
this
want
is
to
a
talk about first? Do we want to talk about war? Or do we want to talk about fascism? I mean, they're kind of
I
interlinked. Maybe it would be better to do
I
wars first.
dude, I gave a whole speech about war when you told
Okay,
me
then
by
I'm gonna
accident.
talk about war a little. So
Yeah.
I'd say
We get
post time
fascism.
skip because there's like literally a war going on. They do a
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really good job showing the nuanced, fucked up, like beyond just like people getting exploded in the trenches, fucked up aspects of war. And there are like good, innocent people with good intentions on both sides of most conflicts. Um, Attack on Titan seems to largely be like a World War II analog, even if that's not intentional, like Isayama said, but like you literally have people wearing like star armbands in ghettos. So like
Mm-hmm.
the Marleyans are pretty much literally Nazis.
Pretty much,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not
That was what was
genociding
I going to
them.
say about. That was what I'm going to say about. They're pretty much Nazis because basically you used
They're
an
not
band to.
necessarily Nazis.
They're not Nazis, but they're doing a little
Yes,
bit of
because
Nazi Germany shit.
yeah, because they
They're
were the
just
ones that got.
they just have racist. They're just racists.
They're
You
racists.
know.
Yeah,
They have ghettos where people wear armbands. So it's like a
yeah.
little. They kind of. They don't really dress too much like German soldiers, kind of
Well,
with the helmets, but not really.
well, it's basically like, for example, let's say they basically like, for example, one place they're racist against black people, or let's say Arabic people. They come and then say, "Hey, you will," I word terrorist. Then literally they can't do nothing. That's basically Marleyans. They're just a bunch of douches.
Well, it seems like everyone's racist towards the Eldians.
Yeah,
Oh, that's another interesting
yeah,
thing about it is that no one's really in the right. I would say when we start off, Marley is definitely much more in the wrong. Um,
yeah.
well, kind of.
You could argue
So,
that they. Well, look at the guy at chapter. What was it? 135, 134.
I
He gave
no,
that
I
big
think there was
speech, and he just said,
they.
"Look, that is centuries worth of our hate. That is our fault. We deserve this to basically happen because it's like it doesn't mean we're not going to fight, but we caused this. This isn't some unjust like attack on our people and our nation. We did this to ourselves by sowing hate through the generations.
yeah,
It's our fault." And I was like, thank you. Somebody acknowledged it.
yeah,
Like,
it's
if you guys didn't
definitely.
screw them over, they wouldn't have done that.
It was not as.
Yeah,
It's much more nuanced than I had originally thought because I knew about the rumbling. I was like, all right, Aaron, I understand you want to like protect the people of Paradise Island, but like you're going a little overboard here. Um,
Yeah.
so with the knowledge of like the actual oppression of Eldians that had been going on for actually only a century, which is another interesting thing, I'm kind of like okay. And then the stuff with like literally the entire world hates Paradise Island. I'm like,
it's
Yep.
like holy
okay,
shit.
I kind of get it a little. I'm
Yeah,
not agreeing with
yes,
you, but I understand. Um,
it's
an interesting thing to
basically.
consider is that like the
Wait,
Titan
let me
Wars
bring a
were
manga.
only 100 years ago. Like it
Yep.
wasn't like oh thousands of years ago the ancient
It
Titan
wasn't that long
Wars
ago.
they
It's basically
destroyed
like
the Eldian
World War.
Empire. It was like
It's
this was like a little over an entire human lifetime ago. Like a
Mm-hmm.
few,
yeah.
like a generation ago, there were people alive that saw this. So it's like
Betty
it's a
White
recent
remembers
event.
a Titan War. That's what you're saying. Betty White remembers the Titan War.
Betty White almost got to see the Titan War.
Exactly. She was 1 year off. She was
Yeah,
born right after the end of the Titan War.
yeah. So it's like this is actually like a really recent historical event. If we're gonna do like a comparison, either I guess Paradise would kind of be. It's interesting. So the Eldians are kind of getting treated like early stage Holocaust Jewish people in Nazi Germany, but the actual Eldian Empire is much more like World War One Germany, in which they were just trying to lord over everyone and then
Yeah,
got fucked into
it's
oblivion,
You could
basically.
also
yeah.
compare it to Australia.
What
You
did
know,
Australia do?
I was like,
no,
what are you going to
what I
say?
mean is that this is an island where they basically dumped all the
Oh
unwanted and all the
yeah, yeah,
criminals,
yeah, yeah.
and that is basically what the entirety of the Australian
Yeah,
people are:
it's
is a
like a
bunch of British criminals. They
everyone in
own the British
Australia is
Empire
either a
owns it.
criminal or the descendant of a criminal
Right.
or an
I
aboriginal.
mean, right, and it's really generalization, but there weren't very many. So Australia wasn't exactly a very habitable place at the time, and that's where they dumped all the criminals on this island at a sight, at a mind. You don't want to go to Australia. Oh, Australians. You know, and that was the mindset. So you could make that parallel a little bit there.
Yeah,
An
kind of.
island way off in the sea that nobody ever goes to,
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah,
Now Australia has grown and blah, 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 but that's the way it was.
I still wouldn't go there with all that shit
it
living there.
began. Well,
Yeah.
basically, can I just add something to the subject, please?
Sure thing.
I can I have two t-shirt misc? Just kidding.
You
Well,
can get
it's
2 minutes to add a thing. I'm counting.
by a lot, but I talk. Okay, so basically, audience, you can see like let's talk about major spoilers. Okay, not major spoilers, but between spoilers between when the Eldians, when the Marleyans said when they saw the colossal rampage, they thought like if we only have a chance to be forgiven and have and make peace, we would. And then when you see, basically chapter 136, I guess that they aim at some Eldians.
Yeah, there's still like some of the Marleyans are still fucking racist.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's like it's been ingrained in them for like a century. But
yeah,
like,
but
boys, it just goes to show you that shit doesn't go away easily. Like it's literally the end of the world, and they're still being fucking racist.
Mhm.
yeah,
Hey
you
man, as
you
long
just
as there are
said you
still two
want.
people in the world, one of them's gonna try killing the other one.
There's literally just nothing more left. You ask for an extra chance, and then when they come, you just come like, but you're aliens. Like, are you are you freaking dumb or what? You
Yeah,
just ask for salvation. You
yeah,
stupid.
Well,
It's crazy.
it's the fault. It's I mean we know it's the fault of the Marlians, on that front. But at the end of the day, in the same way, you also need to understand that you can't just go to war with a race and then all of a sudden it'd be like I've made this comparison before, but you take someone who's been in a POW camp from Korea and have a Korean family move next door to you and tell me there's not going to be animosity from that
isn't that
poor
the
veteran
plot of
who
Gran
suffered.
Torino?
Pretty much, yeah. But that was Vietnam, actually. It wasn't in Korea, I
Oh,
believe. It
was
was
it?
the
I didn't remember
Vietnamese.
which one it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Wait.
Either way, and at the end of the day, the point is that with a few pretty words and one good speech, you could argue, isn't going to take away. I mean, look at today. We've had Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and to this day, there's still white supremacist neo Nazis living in the United States of America and
Yeah,
up here
we've
in
done a
Yeah.
Canada
really
too.
shitty job of
So
dealing with
you
that. We need to
can't.
Yeah.
bring back anti-Nazi propaganda.
There
Like
Dude,
if
you
you
we
go.
go
But
back
can't
you
and look at the
forget
can't.
World
about
War
the
II
girl.
period, we had straight up like anti-Nazi, anti-fascist propaganda.
Yeah.
Pre-Red, well, I mean, we had a little bit of Red Scare as a treat because this was pre-Cold War because the Russians were
Right.
technically on our side. But
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
before we had all of the stuff about like better dead than red. Oh my God, was it all anti-Nazi stuff? We need to
Yep.
bring that shit back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Basic.
See, here in Canada, we have some laws against it, and the European places do. The United States does not view the Nazi symbol as a sign of hate for some reason, and
Well, I
there
think it's a
are
hate symbol, but
technically.
hate symbols aren't necessarily
Well,
illegal
put it to you
unless
this
you're
way.
like inscribing
Right.
them onto someone else's property.
That's right.
Wait,
So
isn't the Nazi
it just
symbol the
depends.
swastika?
Yeah, the
Isn't that?
Nazis stole a lot of shit from everyone. They stole our
Yeah.
Yeah.
salute. They stole the swastika from the was it
But
Buddhists,
also
Hindus,
a
whatever.
Buddhist or one of Shintoism or whatever, they are not going to display the swastika turned on a 45 with a white circle on a red flag either.
Yeah, there's a
That's not
very
what they're
different
displaying.
context.
Their way of
Basically.
doing it is 90-degree angles and all that stuff, and it's usually made of it's
Yeah.
usually gold and white, and it's usually on Buddha statues and et cetera, et cetera. So you're never going to see the interpretation. If somebody's flying the Nazi flag, it's got nothing to do with what the origin of the symbol is. It's a Nazi symbol at that
Dude,
point,
this
right?
is
So
this. I'm getting really off topic right now, but there was this
Yeah. We're just
crazy.
changing from it,
No,
dude.
we'll get back into it into a second. This is what the podcast is for. This is how. Listen, my content is not scripted, so when you add like two or three more people into the mix, it's gonna become even more of a shit show. But that's what we're here for.
We
So,
just talk about Attack on Titan and end up to talking about an orange being a banana. What do you expect about
yep,
us?
of course. My
but
dad's.
Miss, you are right.
Yeah,
like like you
Yeah.
need this, but I think it all becomes relevant because you were saying, and so was Koji was saying that you have this um element of Nazism, sort of. You can see the parallels, just as we were comparing with the war and the fascism and the racism in Attack on Titan, especially with the Marlians. You see that Nazism sort of elements. So I
yeah.
feel like this is relevant that even years later, how are neo Nazis not illegal, especially in the countries that fought against it?
Gotta love that
It's
First Amendment. I mean,
it's
I do.
You
it's
But
remember
mind
some
blowing.
you
So
have your
you were
trade-offs.
you were saying 100 years. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
It's not
for
even
us,
been
it's even
100 years
shorter.
for us,
It's been like
and
80
still
years.
we haven't eliminated it. We have people born today that don't live in there. We have neo Nazis today living in our countries that weren't even around by the time Hitler was already dead, and
Yeah.
somehow they fought. Like it's mind blowing. So when you see that parallel of our real world, it actually enhances what we're seeing now in the latest chapters of Attack on Titan
Yeah.
when you make these real
yeah.
world comparisons.
Yeah. So
Griever, you
this is.
forget about the anime opening. New
Oh,
anime
Griever
opening.
hasn't
I
watched
never
the
saw
Yeah,
anime.
it.
I sent them in the VC chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if he watched them.
yeah. It's basically
Oh, I didn't.
in one. You can see. Let me, if you want, you can. I can check out what I tell you. You basically have the anime opening, right? From
The
season
anime
4,
opening
right?
for the new season is basically a very artistic, stylized version of a bunch of World War II war footage.
Mm,
Um,
Yeah,
like there's literally
you
a scene
even
that looks like a Nazi march.
yeah, it's
I can
basically
see
that.
that. I
Let
can see
me
that.
So,
copy link.
right. Oh, yeah, I was about to go really off topic. My dad's girlfriend, I think she like went into her neighbor's house for some reason. Because I think it was some
Mm-hmm.
people that had just moved in or whatever. It's this Indian
Mm-hmm.
family, and in the middle of this big display case, in complete
Mm-hmm.
contrast to everything else on there, they have like this little collection. It's like a little collage of a bunch of like Nazi figurines that have like Nazi flags in the background and stuff.
What the
And it's just
fuck?
that it doesn't mesh with any of the other shit they have there. She was like, "Oh yeah, they've got like swastika flags or whatever." I think it
What?
was. Listen, it's not very important. I was visiting, like we were visiting with my dad's girlfriend. Someone had seen it. I think it was her. Whatever. Very not important. What's important was like it was very fucking weird that there was just like this
It,
Indian family that it like out of nowhere has like this collection of Nazi figurines and memorabilia that they keep in a display case with a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with World War II is the most fucking bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
now, from now we could. There is sometimes an
Yeah.
explanation for things like that. Not that I
I'm
would ever own
sure
something like
there
that.
is an explanation.
Yes,
Basic.
they could be a collector. These could be vintage figures from the time in
Possibly, yeah.
Germany when
Yeah.
and it's kind of like yes, it's Nazism, but it's also a piece of history. Like you don't throw away those things. The good, the bad, the horrific. History is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be only the good parts. So if
Yeah,
they're a collector of historical things, you might have, hey, this sword chopped off 1,000,000 heads on your wall. Huh, it looks pretty cool.
I would buy one of those
Meanwhile,
if it's not
Yeah.
like haunted.
right.
Well,
So
well,
I would
basically,
never own anything like that, but still, you could see it.
Mm.
There's a
Yeah,
perfectly
I would
logical
like to know what
explanation.
the context of them having that there
Yes,
was.
I
Because
think
I
I'd
was
like
like,
to know.
in the 10
uh,
minutes before I finally saw a picture, I'm like, you said like they're Indian, you know, like the swastika has like some kind of various religious connotations from that region before the Nazis took it, and then I see the picture and it's like, no, it's a fucking Nazi German flag with a bunch of Nazi figurines in
yeah.
like a
And
background
Oh,
painting of Germany.
by the way, I wanna say something. I wanna add something, and then before I say what I say, the original stuff is that one of my friend's dad, my dad's friend, was basically a veteran, and he had like basically when he went to war, he basically had like something that the photo of him and his group, and he basically also had like basically for what he had as enemies, what he had as friends, and basically his friends with someone that he was enemies with, and basically that's history. You can change it. It's basically like Attack on Titan. You can change it. You can't change. It's basically that. And when is Waka entering? I don't know when. Wait,
Waka
is
may
Waka?
enter within like 10
Wait.
minutes, who knows. I'll
Oh,
ask him some of
oh,
the previous
really?
questions to get him up to speed. It'll be a Waka speed round. But where were we?
He's
It'll be a
he
speed
was.
round. We'll do it, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about some big shit because I know
Speed
there's big
running.
symbolic stuff you want to talk about Koji that
Yeah.
I don't know very much about because I haven't read all the required um, assisting literature you know, like all the books you need to read to understand Hunter x Hunter. I haven't read all of that stuff for Attack on
I have the 26 testaments right here.
Titan. Yep.
Tell me, what do I have to check, my master?
But we'll ask you that in a little bit. Where were we with the war stuff?
Well,
War.
I
Oh,
have
right.
like
There was another
yeah.
aspect to it that I wanted to talk about, and that's the stuff we get with Reiner and Eren meeting up. That puts a
Yeah.
lot of things into perspective.
Mm.
Is when he says, Reiner, I'm the same as you. He's talking about the fact that Reiner went to Paradise. He hid within the people there. He met them. He learned that they're not all bad people, and still persisted on with the mission, knowing that he was going to kill a lot of innocent, good people. And Eren was pretty much doing the same thing, where he went
Yep.
there, he met Falco, he ate the same food as them, he was under the same roofs as them. He's like, you know what? The people in Marley are not all bad, but this is a war, and I'm going to protect
First
Paradise
year.
Island, so I'm going to do my shit anyway, being completely aware of all of this. So,
Well,
yeah.
he basically had no other choice, Aaron, because then they
I mean, there were
would
probably other
probably
choices. He probably could have talked to
no
Willie
no
Tiger.
like basically Marley would probably make a comeback or something like that in the distant future, and then everything would go worse. At least the manga is ending. It's not like we have like a new season of next generation Titan shifters and stuff like that.
I fucking hope
Or
not. I hope
I
they just
never
end. I
went.
know. You know what? This does not strike me as the type of series you would get like a really cheap sequel to. This seems like the type of
Yeah,
thing where when Isayama's done with it, he's done with it.
yeah, and if
Oh, you poor, poor,
I
poor
know.
tragic
I
soul.
hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not just being
I
There's
naive.
hope
not
But
a
we
this
are
seemed
right.
single
really.
thing. There's not a single thing in this world that starts making money that somebody somewhere doesn't buy the licensing rights to and fuck up.
Yeah, when someone
Yeah.
buys the license, it's the anime is probably fucked up. So, like for example, let's just say Naruto had a good series. I'll put in an example. I'm not being honest with myself. Probably, who knows? Naruto was a good series, and then I can agree with this approvingly. Boruto was basically shit. Same was
Dude, I'm
with
gonna have to
Dragon Ball.
timestamp this shit. Do I even bother timestamping?
Like basically Dragon Ball was good and then they ruined it with Super. Let's go Super Broly. Let's
I
go
don't know. I
Super
don't know what Griever's
Heroes.
opinion on all of the Dragon Balls are.
Oh,
Oh,
I got different opinions there. I mean, you can
yeah.
argue a lot. Like Super's animation wasn't up to par, but all the movies are good and the storylines are fine. I don't know why people bitch. It's Dragon Ball Z. It was never exactly 4D chess worth of storylines.
Yeah, I know, but it's
So,
basically an example. I'm putting a random example. What mainly my friends think up, I put it as an example. Don't worry. That's what I said. Naruto, maybe who knows?
mhm. All right, Misk, you want to move on to the next topic,
Yeah.
Sure.
or is there?
Let's talk. This was something I had wanted to kind of do a rambling video on before I decided to do this podcast. I'm going to talk a little about fascism in Attack on Titan. And I put fascism in big air quotes because a lot of people throw that word around, and I feel like I'm one of like 5 people on the internet that actually understand what fascism is. So,
Yeah.
to be clear, fascism is not just like violent authoritarianism. That's violent authoritarianism. Fascism is
Mm.
something much more specific. To put it in like very, very, very simplistic terms, it's like far right, hyper nationalistic. Everything is done for the sake of the state. You know, shit like that. Nazi Germany, World War II Italy. Those are fascism. Where
Hmm.
everything is about militarism and fighting for the sake of your nation against a constantly existing threat that wants to wipe all of you out. Attack on
It's
Titan kind of develops on those themes a bit, actually, because it seems initially at the start. It's kind of like this is mostly done because there have been some articles written by various people that don't seem to really understand the manga, saying that Attack on Titan is pro-fascism, which I was very interested in because I had heard some weird things
uh,
about Isayama in relation to the actions of Imperial Japan. But apparently, that's more of a Japanese cultural thing than it is an individual Isayama problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, Attack on Titan is pro-fascist. So we start off with a very militarized society. Everyone sort of, for the most part, holds the members of the various corps up on this pedestal as these people that are saving all of mankind against the eternal threat of the Titans, who are just constantly coming forward and they're going to eat everyone. You're all going to die. So give your hearts for the sake of this country that we don't have a name for. Give your hearts for the sake of mankind, and be constantly fighting
And
against this threat. You know, anime openings that make me feel very patriotic for a country that doesn't exist. It kind of reads a little bit initially like some kind of propaganda for a very nationalistic country until you consider the idea that a lot of the deaths that happen feel very, very meaningless. A big theme
yeah,
with militarism and fascism is that you're giving up your life for the sake of the nation. You'll die a very proud death for the sake of saving the country. Those proud deaths never happen. Everyone dies fucking terrified and they regret being there, and it feels like most of them never amount to anything. Even Erwin, who is like your ideal person to serve as like a propaganda outlet, is like, yeah,
yeah,
guys, it's fucking meaningless. Like, no
yeah. He
matter what
said
you
it on
wanted,
season 3, part
you're going to be shredded to death by these rocks. It's not like there's no big higher cause. Like, even Erwin does not prioritize the cause of saving humanity over his own desire to find out the truth. He does in the end, because it's like his obligation to the people that have paved the path for him. But
Mm-hmm.
the idea that everything is for the sake of like the nation, it doesn't really happen. Once you get into it and you actually pay attention to what's going on, everything's really shitty, and it feels like everyone dies for no reason. Like everyone feels like they just kind of die meaningless deaths for the most part until a certain point in the story. Like a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
Survey Corps members that we meet just get immediately demolished by various Titans, and a lot of them die terrified. Um, like this idealized propaganda of what it's like to fight in a war for the sake of your nation doesn't fucking happen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get into post time skip stuff. Fantastic. Waka's coming on in 5 minutes. We will think
finally.
of shit to talk about with Waka.
Yeah, he
Um,
will make we will make him squeal
hell yeah.
every last drop of
Um, tremendous. Then you get into post time skip, where the Marleyans, while, understandable, are like wrong initially about Paradis being like this constant threat. They're literally talking about how Paradis needs to be a constant threat to keep the world unified. um,
when
Mm-hmm.
they basically
which
are
is
the
like
ones that
that's literally like a thing in fascism where you need to have this constant threat that we need to be constantly militarized so that we can fight against this threat that's always there. We can always fight against. That's the devils on Paradis Island. But as we've learned from like the whole first chunk, like the whole first, I don't know, like 3/4 of the series, is that they're just normal people. They're not like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you inject them with Titan spinal fluid, they turn into giant monsters, but if you don't do that, they're just normal people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so even then, Marley's idea of like this constant evil looming threat of Paradis Island is made up. It doesn't really exist. Um, Apparently, encoding over. Nope, that's gone now. Thank God. Um, it's not real. Like it's fictional. Then we get into some more like actual straight up fascists with the Jaegerists. Those guys, those fun bunch
Yeah,
with Flock. Fuck those
yeah. I
people,
remember.
honestly. Like they straight up do assassinations against people that have been helping Paradis the whole
Dude, I
time.
remember that fucking scene. He
I
basically
fucking
shot at someone in the head. I remember good,
Yeah, he
right?
shot Niccolo for like no good reason. Because Flock's a
Yeah,
fucking dickhead. He's such a spineless, he's such a weaselly little fucking coward, and then you give the guy a gun for like 20 minutes, and suddenly he's like a little
he
mini
goes
Hitler.
GTA 5 star.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Um,
yeah,
the Jaegerists are fucking assholes, and at like no point are they portrayed as being good guys. Like it never happens. Um, so the idea that it's sort of promoting this idea of like, oh yeah, we should totally genocide all other races for the sake of preserving our own. It's like, no, they're wrong. Has Aaron ever been presented as being in the right? Like he's correct, technically, but he's not right about doing the rumbling. I feel like if they were going for like a pro-genocide position, we wouldn't show him crushing innocent children to death and people jumping off cliffs to their deaths.
And it's funny that you bring up when you were saying that all the elements of fascism that were in here. A lot of people agree with Zeke's idea as being the most humane, the
In
sterilization.
comparison to
yeah.
what
But
Aaron is
that
doing,
is a right, but that is a fascist ideal for sterilization. Is a
yeah,
fascist an element of fascism?
yeah, it's
From
a
what
it's a
my
type of
I
genocide.
don't study that, but yeah, it's a slow, it's a humane genocide,
It's a
if you will.
quote unquote humane genocide, basically.
Right. Yes.
Because
YouTube, we
it's
are
based
not promoting genocide. Please don't take down
before
this
that we
video.
don't
Don't put words in
promote
my mouth
any.
now.
No, I just have to
YouTube.
clarify because I'm agreeing with you
Can I
here
clarify
that we are
something?
not promoting genocide.
Mm,
Can I
We are
clarify something
specifically
on the
talking
mic?
about how it's bad.
mm.
Can I please?
Sure, what do you have to say,
Jaegerists can
Koji?
go to hell. Kill all the Jaegerists. We don't care about
Yeah,
them
the
people.
Jaegers suck. Flock dies like a loser, and then Hanji goes out like a
Yeah,
badass 5 minutes later. So that just
yeah,
goes to
but
show all
basically,
of the fascists die like losers. They suck.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck them.
Hmm.
Except Aaron, not yet.
Not
Basically, but
yet, and Aaron has sort of oh, for Aaron, it's
it's the
gone
final
beyond
thought.
this ideological thing. Good question, Armin. What about you is free, Aaron? Is anything about Aaron
Yeah,
free anymore? Not really, because he feels like he just has to do this, so he's not really
He's
free to
been
any
a
extent.
puppet since the once again that I argued the reverse amnesia. He's been a puppet. He hasn't
Okay.
been a he truly has been. He's been a puppet of his own creation. He was in this rage of revenge in the first part when he was still his own person. And then when that moment happened, then because it synced up with his naive tunnel vision of revenge against the Titans, it just bloomed from there, and he's
Yeah.
basically become he's not as and I think that's what Arwen's true question is. He's not free. He's not even himself anymore. He can't. He's
I could,
the quote the saying blinded by rage. He's
Yeah.
blinded by revenge, and he can't
yeah,
see 2 feet in
Think
front of
at
himself
this
anymore.
point, it's not. I think once we get to the point where he's taken over the Founding Titan and he's doing the rumbling, it's like barely a revenge thing anymore. It's his motivation that he's
It's
claiming now is
robotic.
he wants the Eldians on Paradise Island and he wants his friends to be free. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to take away everyone else's freedom so that you guys can be free to do whatever you want. You're even free to stop me if you want, which is why Reiner thinks that he wants to be stopped. I think is that chapter 131? I don't remember the exact chapter number, and I think it's the same
it's
chapter where you have
basically when they don't.
the
Basically, the
freedom double page spread where it's like Kid Aaron, like over the
yeah,
clouds
I
saying how
know
he's
the
finally
path.
gotten freedom.
Hmm.
And I think that's the same one where they have like the kid getting crushed to death, and he remembers what Aaron was saying to him, where Aaron's like, "I'm very sorry that I'm going to kill you and everyone else here, but I've seen what's going to happen, and everything else I have seen since coming here has shown me that I have literally zero other options than to do this terrible thing that I know is going to happen." Um, so he's literally not free. He is imprisoned by what he has been shown and believes to be the only possible option to ensure freedom for the people on Paradise. Although, as I mentioned to Griever in his chat during the last One Punch Man stream, you still have people. You're going to have people on Paradise that want to take away other people's freedom, unless that's
Of
considered to be
course, there's
freedom on its
terrible
own.
people living on Paradise. So they are the
There,
Yeah,
victims of the greater world, but they are also they have their own individual like it's all about scale when it comes to that. There's still bad Aldinians, just like there's bad Marlians, and there's
yeah,
good no matter where you go. So it's just about the scale. The people
I
in
mean,
the terrible people like that royal family thing or whatever that dude, um, they they are limited because they're Eldinians on Paradise. But if they were to be born as a Marlian, there's no telling what damage that guy could have caused.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's only able to do so much damage. Burn a couple of villages, kill a couple of women, kidnap a couple of children. No big deal. But imagine that dude with that same upbringing and attitude with a bigger world. That's a bigger world for him to infect and invest. So the idea that like we see it because we're seeing the grand scale at this point in the manga, but I feel like you know when you tone down the scale, there's still plenty of evil there. It's just they're forced in. It's sort of like if I provide you with a knife, you can do a lot of damage with a knife, but if I gave you if I gave you a tank, you do a lot. You could do the same amount of sort of
yeah,
idea. The bigger toys you get, the more damage you can cause, right?
yeah, it's basically like a video game. The more the rare the arm, the weapon, the more damage it can take. Talking about it, Dad, I wanna say something that I wanted to add when Miss actually said about fascism, that we can see that through the coordinate itself. Like they're try little by little. It's like, for example, when I said about instead of Reiner breaking little by little, it was basically that. With well, that's basically the coordinate makes you break little by little because basically the users, it was the attack titan, the owl, was basically trying to find hope. And the previous one that wanted war, you can see the genes spurring up even the inheritors of the on the titans shifters. When you see that well, you can see Grisha trying to give hope, but it also combines with the fact that he has to kill and he knows it well. And he gives the secret to Commander Shades, I guess? It was Shades, right?
Shadis
The very
was that was the instructor, right? That was Shadis.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he basically gave it to him, the secret,
Yeah.
how he was and everything, and that he even was a type of sector. So then what we see that it connects to like not only the genes, but also the power changes you. Like for example, let's say, like for example, my mom says never be too greedy. When you are greedy and they give you a knife, let's put Griever example about weapons, bigger toys. When you're greedy and they give you a knife and you see a rich person, you're gonna steal, and you're very greedy. You're gonna stab that person to death and steal his money. But if you were had to have a tank, you are literally gonna blow up to take out the ranks and steal everything. Not only that, but the coordinate also acts at the genes, like for example the DNA itself, like you take the emotions and everything else. Ageism is not only on the kind and everything, but also on the spinal fluid that you inherit. It's basically that they still store up some of the emotions and some of the actions. Like for example, let's say Berthold that could speak to Armin through his time shifting powers. It's basically that you still have the emotions of DNA and genes and hatred, love, everything. It's basically fascism, even through that power. You get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I even gave a speech again. Not
Good
again.
job. So I'll
Yeah.
keep you on a shorter leash for future streams, Koji. All right, now
I
I
guess.
wanna. There's still some stuff. I know. I do want to wait for Waka to get in here. He says he's going to be in here in a few minutes, so I want to get some stuff from him. We can maybe have a little bit of general conversation.
Yeah.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
convincing your dad in the past to like murder a bunch of kids is fucking nuts. That shit is so wild.
That was that moment. Honestly, this is where I haven't been the hugest fan of the direction Attack on Titan went once that sort of started. When it started with Zeke and Ymir or Mir or whatever, the Y is silent, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and Aaron, all in the thing. That it was like, where is this gonna go? I'm not going to judge it as bad because once again, one of the moments that I brought up and I sort of retracted was one of my bad moments was the whole Reiner just, hey, I'm the colossal, I'm the armor titan, he's the
Yeah.
colossal titan, let's go. But later on, now that we have all the information now about where his head was at, where his mind was at, we got a bunch of past flashbacks. Now it makes sense why he was sort of, and at that point, his mind was almost broken by that point. We didn't have it at the time. So I'm not going to say it's bad yet, but I haven't been a fan of the direction it took. And if it comes all back around with some great meaning, that's what I'm going to wait for before I judge it too harshly, but just based on the fact that I haven't really been a huge fan of the whole, oh, he was there the entire time in his dad's past. They sort of time traveled, sort of not, sort of did, sort of didn't. He was actually in the memories, but he isn't. He wasn't there until he knew he was there. It's a little.
I
I was
assume you
like,
thought that
okay,
was weird when Kruger was like, "Oh, Grisha, you have to find someone in the walls and love them, or it'll be repeated all again, and you won't be able to save Armin and Mikasa." And Grisha's like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?" And Kruger's like, "I don't know."
And
Was that when you
yeah,
started
yes,
getting weirded out by it? Because
a
they do
little
set that
bit
up
right
early.
around that chapter. Yeah, right about that. Well, right around then. Yeah, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. That now it's getting.
A little
I
weird.
think what I didn't when I started to feel, what are they doing? Is when Zeke started to lose control of the whole manipulation or where that special world they go into, the founding Titan world.
Yeah.
Um, Once they go into there and Zeke was the one in control and they had their conversation and blah blah blah. And once Aaron started and Zeke couldn't understand how he was losing, I was like, okay, this is either going to be really cool or really what the fuck. And it was more of the what the fuck side. But once again, not going to judge it or call it bad or anything until this whole section that we're into right now is over, and then maybe
we can
it'll
give
turn out
our
to be better.
conclusions, right? Like give
Right,
our
right.
conclusions. You mean? Yeah, I get what you're
Exactly,
saying.
exactly.
One of the things that I want to add up, also that you brought that is that how the hell did it actually work? Like
Dude, it's
you
like the
say,
Force.
like for
It's like the Force. It exists. It's like
that
time. It exists through
the
over all of time. Paths is so.
it
The Attack Titan has always fought for freedom because Eren reverse brainwashed all the Attack Titan users. No, well, that's just a theory, but that is pretty
yeah,
fucking wild,
Yeah, he
actually. That Eren
basically
just
but
did
having
that.
it made everyone
Oh
that has the
man.
Attack Titan.
Yeah.
Listen,
but
I think I
basically,
agree with the idea that if Eren hasn't seen the future possessors of the Attack Titan, that means he's
yeah,
gonna fucking die. Well, no, that means no one's gonna get it after him,
yeah, but
or no one's
basically
going
what
to
I don't,
inherit it after him. Actually, they
yeah,
could
but
get rid of the Titans potentially. Like, you could use the founding Titan to change the subjects of Ymir so they can't turn into Titans anymore. I assume that's
I
something you
yeah,
could do. If you can
I
literally
did.
sterilization, I
change
guess.
them to like be immune to diseases or not be able to reproduce, like I'm assuming being able to turn into a Titan is like a genetic thing for them, magic genes. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna assume that
I
you
don't.
could
You know what?
change
I
the
don't
subjects
like
of
that,
Ymir.
miss.
You don't like
I
that?
I I don't like the line you've been saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I think that's
yeah,
why I'm not liking the story so much is that this was more of a bit of a supernatural element, but a little bit of science mixed in, and now it's gone full blown. There's the Force after 100 chapters in. I don't like introducing things that haven't really been spoken of 100 chapters in, and I'm just oh, it's magic. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, people
this
turning
isn't
into
the
Titans
soft
after having a
magic.
big lightning explosions,
Yeah,
and like
like
it's a
it's
little
I had no
basically
problem
aggravating.
like
with it. Yeah, it's not as simple as, oh, there's a virus, now there's zombies. It's like, okay, how would that work? But you accept that it's still bound within the realms of, it was a plague, it was a
It's
disease, it was a this.
magical
But
science.
the tight and especially the fact that they have them in the syringes, it's passed on and stuff. Like this idea of the bloodlines, it got corrupted or something. Sure, it's like vampires, werewolves. You can explain it. I was hoping for something more than that, not this crazy mystical energy of, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. It does get like pretty fucking out there. All right, well, I guess Walk is not joining this time around. Oh well, that's
I
fine. This
saw
has
that
gone on
coming.
for a while anyway. So, what did you want to
I
say,
say
Koji?
final. Yes, finally. What I was going to say is basically like I don't understand. Like Griever said, like we have science. Like the basically Attack on Titan was basically religion of Nordic Valhalla stuff. Like literally giants and titans connected basically
The
through
first Titan is called
science.
Ymir, which was like the first of the giants in Norse mythology. You
Yeah,
have a big
but
fucking
basically it was
tree.
science. It was basically science itself. Like you have the connection, inheritance, and everything else. But it wasn't like basically supposed to be, oh, let's just bring magic. It's like, for example, let's say you bring on Call of Duty. Let's say you bring Harry Potter out of nowhere. You bring magic ones out of nowhere on Harry Potter on Call of Duty. It's basically that what they did for, in my opinion, because basically you have science, you have inheritance, you have Jimir's curse, obviously. That's a teaser of that there's a curse, meaning that there's magic. But it wasn't like you can sterilize everything. You can make magic. If it was so, they would have the power to stop it long ago, but instead they chose to not use it well, and now they show magic like literally because of that. Aaron was able, if I remember correctly, to make the rumbling. Like Jesus fucking Christ, it couldn't be like, for example, I know the connection between Sika and Royal Blood, and
Well, I
he
mean,
has also,
controlling it could be it's like a queen bee or a queen ant. Like they could release pheromones
yeah,
that control the other members
no,
of the hive. So that's
it's
actually kind of like, especially since it's royal blood, that would actually make
yeah, it's
relative
I
basically
didn't
like
sense.
a
mind that
king with
aspect. That aspect isn't a problem. That could still be explained. You know.
yeah, but it's basically he's acting like King Leonidas in his 300 army, something like that. It's basically
No,
it
that
went
did not
to.
end as well as this. That did not go as well as this has been
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the rumbling mainly about king, a king controlling his army. Basically,
Yeah,
it's
well, that's
basically
just more
like
like a yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but it,
hmm.
but it's basically magic that that took away science. In other words, there was science and they changed it to magic itself. So,
Hmm.
any other
I
topics?
mean, I kind of figured as soon as you see Titans exploding into existence with lightning magic, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
magic. It's like, it's magic, but since it exists and you can study it, magic is just science you don't understand. Um,
Yeah.
so like, I guess it's just sort of both. It's like that cool shit they do in like Blade, where you have like vampire science. It's like, yeah, vampires are magic, but if you can study them, it can also be science. So like, it's kind of both, I guess, which is fine.
I don't know. It's been explained away in series like Underworld where that all came from, and you can argue it's a little bit of magic, but then it becomes almost full science with full, you know what I mean? Like it's just you can't introduce. And I think Kojiro brought up a good example. It'd be like all of a sudden introducing Harry Potter magic into the Call of Duty world. Not that you can't do that, and not that it wouldn't be cool, but don't do it 30 years of gaming into it, and don't do it 100 chapters into a story that had no real indication that that was the case before
Um,
that, and especially in the middle have the whole, it's the Marlians, it's this serum technology, Walking Dead anybody, I Am Legend anybody, it's just a disease, it's just a virus, it's just something science created and it's fucked up. I can accept the whole, okay, we can't really explain it. And we just say, scientists got the right chemicals mixed up and boom, Titans happened. That's easier to for me to understand than fucking Star Wars being introduced into Attack on Titan. In all honesty, I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
more
I do think
believable from the other side.
the paths is kind of weird. It is a little weird. I'll give it that. I think people being able to turn into Titans, that's like magically enough where I can be like, yeah, it's whatever.
Oh,
But yeah, I kind of get
sure,
what
but
you
I
mean.
guess I guess, but like it being all the way to the force level, and now, as you said, they're like in their own memories, they're in their past, they're in their present, but they're in their past. That's a little just okay. Okay,
Yeah.
now you went all let's go Doctor Who and add Terminator time travel into this shit, and it's a little much
Yeah.
from a series. Once again, had they established it earlier or gave us more foreshadowing, maybe I missed some. Once again, only read it once, so maybe there is, but I just feel like there wasn't enough to
You have
prepare us for this
references to
whole.
paths. I think we saw it in Emir's flashback. Like, not
Yeah.
not Emir Fritz, like modern Emir. What are you asking me about, Koji?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did I? Oh,
Uh,
another person has joined the chat. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's up? How you doing, man?
Oh, hello. We have an
Hello.
unexpected
Hey,
guest. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome.
hey.
Hello, we're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad, man.
No problem. Hold
no,
on.
don't worry about it. I should have. You know what? I noticed that Miss did that. Usually, Miss, for future, when you're doing a recording or something, you usually lock the voice chat when
Is
everybody's
that a
in,
thing
and
I
when
can do?
you can actually lock the voice chat so that not
Or
everybody can jump in. But
or
it's no big
basically,
deal. It's a first podcast. Who cares?
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. I had a feeling something was going to be a shit show in this
He's
anyway,
gonna
so it's
basically
whatever.
cover Waka, right? At least. At least. Let's
I
say.
don't know.
He's the new Waka.
Have you read Attack on Titan, Teoo?
I've not read Attack on Titans, but I am like on season, like last season, like episode 1. I gotta get
Alright, you're
going
gonna
with it
want to
though.
dip. You're gonna want to dip out on this one. This is
All
probably a
right.
bad
I mean, if
idea.
y'all ever do a Jujutsu Kaisen one, just let me know.
That will be
Most
coming
likely
probably
join, but
whenever Griever catches up.
hey,
Yeah,
man, you know.
when I catch
Hmm.
up, my streams. I'm on what
Okay.
chapter am I on, Miss? Like 50 or
You're
something.
on.
I've
I
been
think you
doing
just got to
read
chapter
through
50.
stream.
You just got to chapter 50, so that'll be the start of the new
Yeah,
Oh,
stream.
yeah.
oh,
So
okay.
so yeah, I'll
When you
catch
get
up
to
in a couple of
52, let me
months.
know, man. You know, when you get to 52, let me know how you like it, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, if what am I caught up to? I can check that really quick. What am I caught
I
up to?
think
Because
you're at
then
chapter
the
50. You
next
ended on 49 last at the end of the
Mm.
did I
stream.
end on? Did I end on 49? I might have ended on 49. If that's the case, then the next stream, which should be this weekend. Yeah, you're right. I ended on 49. So next
Oh.
stream, which should be this weekend, I'll be going from 50 to probably 60 something. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be.
Yeah,
I'll,
nice.
I'll join then, you know.
yeah, there you go. There you
All
go.
right,
But all right,
sounds
then I'll
good.
see you guys later, man.
All right, see ya.
All right.
All right, see you.
For future reference, how do I lock the voice channel? I've never done that
You
before.
right click it. I believe. Let me check mine. I can't control your Discord.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a little edit channel button. Is that it?
Yeah.
Permissions
Oh yeah, I see.
and
Permissions.
Griever, I have a.
Lock. Where do I
I
lock it?
there's a lock thing here somewhere. I haven't done it in a long time. So mute members, deafen members, move members, use
Griever,
in.
Misk, I have a better idea. Why don't we make like a podcast VC channel only? Like for example,
I
Google
probably should
for
have made a group
podcasts.
chat for this. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't
Well,
listen.
it's the
I don't do
first
any
one. We
preparation for anything. The most preparation I've done is
yeah.
making sure I can record the audio for this.
Yeah, I was there. But yeah, it's the first podcast. It's not like season 1000 or so that we
Listen,
have
it
a
wouldn't be my
professional.
podcast if we didn't just have random shit interrupting it.
Yeah,
Right.
at least.
Okay,
Well, at least
so what were you gonna say? Uh-oh. Griever
Griever
just
left. And maybe it's internal or something like that.
I
In the
think he may have
meanwhile,
just accidentally exited out. Griever! Well,
he,
that's awkward.
well,
Let's give him a
well, we
second
can
to
talk
get
in the
back.
meanwhile.
Anyway, we're about to get into the end, since this is getting a little late for me. All right, he's back. I had a
He
feeling something
survived.
had messed
Yeah,
up.
I was going, and I sent a message already.
Excellent.
Well,
Okay, we're getting into the. I'm going to do the last question now so that we can wrap this up because this has gone on for over 2 hours now, which is nice. and it's getting a little late for me here. So
Mine
my
is
last
basically
question,
11 p.m.
yeah, for you
Basic.
guys who are in a time zone ahead of me, it's much later.
Yeah.
So last question, how do you think it's going to end? Do you have any idea how it's going to end? Oh shit, I think
Basically.
Griever may be having some kind of internet issues.
Yeah. Griever, are you?
You
Is
there?
your user
Yep.
There we
profile?
go.
Yep. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Okay,
I was
so
I was trying to fix. I heard you. I heard everything, Misk. I was just trying to figure out how to lock my stuff and for your next one, and I screwed around with my own settings by accident. That's all.
nice. I love when that happens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
Anyway, so last final thoughts on what's gonna happen, sort of
what do you
idea.
think is going to happen? Can you even guess what's going to happen at this rate?
Half the main cast is gonna die. This is like Josh Whedon writing a manga. Half the main cast is gonna die. We're gonna have probably Erwin's death, Zeke's death. Surprisingly, I think Levi and
Mikasa?
Mikasa might. Yeah, I think. Will Mikasa? Yeah, but I think Aaron's gonna die. I think that's the only way for anything to go back to semi-normal. So Aaron's gonna die, uh, and maybe Levi might be the only one left. In all
Yeah.
honesty, he's so beaten
Living.
up and he's so close to death, like 3 times now that that majorly we've witnessed. Like, oh my God, is he going to kill off Levi? Is he going to kill off Levi? That at this point, I think Levi's like the survivor, and maybe yeah. I don't see many people living. Surprisingly, I see someone like that. We're not really like Rainer will probably die. Maybe we'll have some random ones like Annie, uh, Mikasa, and Connie will be the last 3 alive or something like just
Yeah.
these random three or Jean or somebody like that. And but I think that we're going to see a lot of people dying. Is this the final arc even?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
it
it's been
looks like
confirmed
it.
that it's ending in April. So there's a few
Oh,
chapters left.
wow. Okay, well then, yeah, then shit. I think it's go big or go home, kill off a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, Koji,
So,
you
yeah.
go.
Well, I'm gonna go basically and say, like Griever said, half of the main cast is gonna die. It's obviously Attack on Titan. You don't kill, it's not Attack on Titan at all. But yeah, Reiner's probably gonna finally rest in peace, what I guess, in the middle of the battlefield. Connie and Levi are barely gonna survive, I guess. Mikasa probably Armin, I guess that he's been eaten by the Jimiro, let's be honest. And although he's eating, I think that being in the coordinate inside of the path, it's gonna play a big role. Although he is dead, he can change some stuff in time, just a little bit of stuff, but he can save someone or at least something that will mainly help in there in the future arc, in the final arc. Him being already dead, but at least saving someone or something like that. I don't know. Uh, Levi's gonna live. Damn, Gina, I guess is gonna die. It's gonna be randomly, I guess. Half of the main cast dying, and to put in a finale, obviously Aaron must die, but at least he's gonna die. Like instead, of like thinking, asking himself, his own self, what is freedom anymore? That's what I guess. That's my own theory.
All
Mhm.
right. So, um, I, I, I don't know if half the main cast is going to die, but I do think we are going to have some major deaths. I think Armin dying is a possibility. I think Zeke's probably fucked. Aaron, Aaron's got to go. There's like, dude, you literally have murdered like millions of innocent people by now. There's not like a redemption thing for you. They can't even lock you up in jail because of your Titan powers. You're gonna die now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no real freedom. That's the real message: is that there is no true freedom. There will always be other people trying to take your freedom away, just like how Aaron's been doing to everyone else, so that other people can have freedom. It's just not a thing. You can't strive after these absolute goals; they don't exist, or you're going to turn into a fucking genocidal maniac. Um, I actually think most of the main cast could live. I think Reiner's going to die. Well, Ymir's curse is still a thing, so Reiner's going
Yeah.
to die. Annie will actually Annie kind of has to die unless being crystallized delays Ymir's curse, but probably not. So she's going to die at some point, probably by the end of the story. I think honestly, once you take those out of the mix, you have what Mikasa, John, Levi, Connie, Gabby, and Falco. I could see like
Yeah.
all of those guys living. Levi maybe not, because Levi's like really
No,
on his
imagine
last
if he's
legs.
still alive.
I could see Levi going out to take down Zeke or help take down. Well, if Zeke is like inside the founding Titan right now, so it would probably be
Yeah.
like in the
Wait,
process of killing
I,
Eren, he would kill Zeke. I could I can see Levi going either way. But you do kind of get big death flags from him basically being on fucking death's door for like the last many chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the end is that um, Eren has succeeded in creating the big evil monster of Paradise Island that the entire world needed to unite against to come together. But now even people from Paradise have teamed up with other people to defeat him and save the world. So now, because of Eren becoming this evil monster that everyone had to unite to fight against, now everyone can actually sort of live together in relative peace. And that'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be the end. So yeah,
I like that ending. I mean, I think we're going to be a little surprised. Once again, I just want to say really quickly is that I find that this arc, ever since they introduced the whole like a bit of the magic, like hardcore, and the way that the story sort of progressed after the Zeke and Aaron confrontation, was going hype, 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 and then now I gotta wait for the as Kojo said, I gotta wait for the conclusion of this arc. I gotta wait for the ending to judge it fairly, and I just hope some things change. Like yeah, like right now the latest chapters are pretty good standalone, but where's the direction going,
how will
and
it
what
stand
where
up
is
at
it
the
going to
end?
end?
Can you even end
Right,
something
yeah.
like
So
this well? What is it with good stories
it,
having terrible endings? You just can't figure out how to
well,
end them right.
it's very difficult sometimes. You know, sometimes you just need to set that goal at the end of the day. You shows trying to be so deep can have deeper meanings, but they need the overall goal. You need Luffy's going to be Pirate King. Uh um you need like Inuyasha collecting the Shikon jewel. You need that kind of thing. You need an actual set goal that along the way you have your adventures, but then you know that this is the ending because this is what we've been striving for since the beginning. You can argue that Attack on Titan is doing that, but it's it's interesting, yeah. Especially when you have a manga that's deeper,
Yeah,
that you can read a lot more into.
I
So,
think, did I mention this earlier, like at the beginning? I think Attack on Titan is a fantastic entry series for like anime or manga. Different, like
really.
Naruto or My Hero are really good entry series for like shonen, like very basic
Mm-hmm.
shonen stuff. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Attack on Titan is a very good entry series for like, is Attack on Titan seinen? It has to be a seinen
Well,
manga.
it's a shonen with the
basically, it's
It's
seinen
quote
elements, or
unquote
yeah, it's
shonen.
both.
It's a
yeah.
good entry series for like deeper anime and manga.
I still think that I would rank Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as the better than Attack on Titan for
Probably I still
introduction
need to
into the
watch
more
those.
serious. But I will say that Attack on Titan, if you're looking for something grittier and darker than a typical shonen, then absolutely Attack on Titan is definitely a good entry level into that darker side of manga and anime storytelling for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's basically a good starter for, let's say, just for example, let's say you like fighting, like for example supernatural. It's basically a good for starters because it can get you into supernatural genre anime, saying a little bit of shonen, maybe just a little bit, but it's basically a good for starters to read mainly because it it has a changing evolution at the conclusion of every minute. Like it changes to a movement to another. That's basically like what it makes a starter of people that want to read mangas and watch anime get into it. Like you want something to like something that hooks you. Like for example, something that baits you in it. That's some of the good things that Attack on Titan has.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
with that, I think we've said basically all we can. This has gone on for almost 2.5 hours. We got quite a lot out of it.
And
I think maybe this went
honestly,
as
we
good as I'd
weren't
hoped it would.
sidetracked. We weren't sidetracked that much. Only
We
I
were
would argue only
sidetracked as
about
much
20
as I'd
minutes.
hoped. A little bit of
Yeah.
sidetracking is a treat to make the podcast a little more dynamic.
Hmm.
I think this one.
I think
No.
this is pretty successful, Miss. Good job.
Yeah, I think this is
Yeah,
the start of something
rest in
very
peace,
good. I look
Hawkeye,
forward to
by the
doing
way.
more of these.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So, yes, Koji, before I close the page on this chapter.
And the aircon is Waka. The air.
Huh?
The air can it count as Waka?
Sure. Sure, whatever. I don't fucking care anymore. Koji, I'm too fucking tired to care right now.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
11
All right.
p.m. for
Well, with that, thank you all for watching. If this is somehow your first video of mine, um, this is basically the same I do for all of my other videos, but nowhere fucking near as long as this, and not with other people. So if you enjoy this kind of unscripted ramblings about various other series, such as Record of Ragnarok, Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, and Kengan Omega, I highly suggest you check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing any of those series, or you want to attack, holy shit, I am so tired. If you want to talk about series like Attack on Titan with me, or any of these other fine people on here, you should definitely join my Discord server. I have a link to it on my channel. Thank you, Griever and Koji, for agreeing to come on here for this hopefully entertaining shit show. I'm very grateful. Hopefully, we can have you guys on again in the future. And once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around.